You're listening to the Propaganda Report. It is 8:57, 3 minutes to the start of the 2024 State of the Union address. I know everybody's very, very excited. Going to have at least one special guest who is with us right now. I'm about to bring her on screen, and potentially some others. Fake Trump is supposed to be here. I don't know what he's gotten into. Hopefully he'll show up at some point. But I've been listening to the pregame commentary. Let me bring our first guest in. Stella, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. How you doing?
Hey, Brad. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Is everybody in Australia stopping everything they're doing to watch President Biden, the leader of the free world, speak tonight?
You should see the streets. It's just like frozen people.
It's chaos. There's probably people walking really slowly and saying nonsensical things inspired by Joe Biden. I'm wondering what drugs he's going to be on. Trending earlier on Twitter was like, oh, my screen just went out. Hold on a second. You see me frozen in a weird pose? Yep. Oh, my goodness. Can you hear me
still?
I
thought you were just frozen and you were checking out Biden, just like all the people in the street.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, exactly. That's a really good start as we go ahead and at least we get the frozen screen out of the way at the beginning. So I'm going to take myself out and come right back in still. So I'll be right back.
Not a problem. I'll just hum a few bars off. No, I won't.
All right.
Let us know if you're in there, out there, whoever you are.
I'm still here. I'm just the camera going here.
Not sure about the Rockfin thing. I'm not seeing it. So just check that as well. Maybe.
Oh, right. I forgot to start it on Rockfin. Let's see.
Are we live or are we just pretending?
Thank you. I appreciate that. See, this is why I always start at least a few minutes early. You know me still.
Yeah, that's very good.
What's going on here? Is this not?
It's very professional. Have your fuck ups over in the very beginning.
It's a little. Oh, there it is. There's that. Okay, so now, Stella, I'm going to give you about 30, 45 seconds, and then I'm going to come back with my camera, hopefully. So I'll be right back.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So, who's out there? Let us know. I'm looking at YouTube. I'm also looking at Rumble. T-Masha, hello. And Rockfin is just pretending to be a page. It's not really.
All right, I'm back.
Hello.
Yes, so...
Yeah, g'day.
I am going to take this background off, and you're just going to have to see the green screen tonight. Because
Nikki Haley still, is that what she is?
I just didn't want to generate a new image there. But okay, here we go. Did we miss the start? Yeah. Oh shoot. Now we had all this preliminary stuff and now we just got to go right in. Let's get all right, the president.
Let's dive into Biden.
Let's dive into Biden like Jill. Yeah, I'm sure Jill eats that backside all the time. He talks about his sex life. I'm hoping he goes deeper into his sex life during the address tonight.
Can't wait for that. He might actually.
I hope
wander off into.
I hope he just forgets where he is and starts saying extremely racist things. Personally.
Oh, right. It's going to be a goodie.
So we haven't started. It says we will begin shortly.
Nikki Haley, clutch your pearls.
I'm sure Nikki Haley is going to be probably angrily pegging a staffer while watching tonight, and considering what I believe the Democrat nominee if Biden drops out. I think she's the best woman, strong female of color to run if Biden drops out.
Nikki Haley is a female of color?
Nikki Haley has been parading around on CNN and MSNBC talking about her struggle as a person of color, which you only know she's a person of color. If she tells you she's it's like me going to the tanning bed for a summer and calling myself a person of color.
Yeah, right.
She's Native American.
Oh, okay. That
Howdy, T-Musha. So this is...
Get the indige in there. Got to tick all the categories.
All right, so I'm taking it away from the White House. I want to hear the stupid commentary from CNN while they're leading up to it, which I thought was interesting is CNN got an off-the-record interview with the president today. And
off the record.
Yeah, off the record. And they just told us how vigorous he was, like they always do. And what they said was during the interview is that he kept taking them to the spot where Trump just sat and watched January 6th unfold. Like he kept doing that because he was so upset about it.
Yeah, that's right. Remind the public memory.
Dozens of Democrats have brought guests related.
I love the prop guests they bring. Somebody is bringing Julian Assange, brother. Yeah.
okay.
priorities for this
That's
address.
Massey,
But
I
from what we
believe.
gathered from the president's
George
speech,
Santos
this
is
going to
there
be a big part of his remarks.
'cause he's
Julian
welcome.
Assange, he's
He's
sort of
the
pretty much from my neck of the woods, actually. Not
Who
very
is?
far. Well, the Assange
Probably the most important
sort of
issue
clan
for them is
family.
reproductive rights.
Don't say
Originally.
clan.
Kind
Don't
of
say
surprised,
clan
by
on
the
this
way, that
stream.
none of the
Okay.
Democrats, as
I
far as
didn't
know,
realize that was a
brought
no.
up
Unless you're wearing a
One of
hood.
those
No
bad
clans.
four-letter C words.
There you look at. Okay, so is he?
Made it to the
Oh, look at
Capitol.
him. Look
He's
at him.
yeah. No, he's got his amphetamine face on. He's jacked up.
Which lobes have we
The
got? The
second, how are
long
you
lobes or the
feeling?
short
And great
lobes?
of the evening.
Probably a
I don't
different
know.
one for the entrance.
From good to great. Well, he got
And another
reinvigorated-
programmed one for the...
reinvigorated in the car.
So there's 3
Pulpit?
Bidens, people believe, right?
But it's kind of
2
surprising
body
Oh, I
doubles.
think it's endless.
It's endless, but it's a bunch of
related at all
clones.
to
It's a
the
factory of them.
prosecution of Donald Trump.
They,
Because you could say,
well,
how
normally
could
you'd
that
you'd
be
upgrade a
Republican
model,
say
but I think they
Eugene
sort of
Carroll or anyone like that?
downgrade
Maybe
him fairly
they are
regularly
like
by the looks of it.
but
It's
that's
still
something else
before he
that's,
gets going. We have a special guest here to preliminary comments, Mr. Former President Trump, possibly future president. Thank you for joining us today as we watch the opening ceremonies and all these very old people they keep panning over to. What are your thoughts on this evening, Mr. President?
There's a lot of old people there in front of us, Brad.
Nobody as vigorous as you.
No, not at all. Not at all. I got my nap in today, so I'm good to go.
You're ready to go. You know, Biden needs 4 or 5 naps to do anything and a shot of amphetamines.
Yeah, Biden's taking those cocaine eye drops. That
He
Hitler
is.
had.
Yeah, the cocaine eye drops. Undefined says it looks like an insurrection to me, an insurrection of old people. There's George Santos there, probably trying to get back into one of those hidden camera rooms where all the gay sex happens. In fact, I imagine
That
most of these people.
Insurrection of old people gives me some pretty funny visuals.
Mr. President, if you are reelected, will you promise to get all of the gay porn hidden cameras that are everywhere in Congress out and show us the real January 6th footage?
Yeah, absolutely. Get all the gay porn cameras out of the Congress.
You know, Stella, that's the real January 6th footage. It's just a bunch of congressmen having sex with their pages.
Look
Oh,
at
I
Lindsey
totally believe it.
Graham.
It's all just a
Lindsey
cover.
Graham. Yeah.
Lindsey Graham, he's such a hip hop guy.
Hip hop
you know?
legend, Lindsey Graham. He helped. He started. See, a lot of people think P. Diddy is the one that cultivated all the rappers. With it was actually Lindsey Graham that cultivated P. Diddy. From what I hear.
Yeah, it's true. It's all true. I mean, the hip hop scene was the CIA psyop to begin with.
Want Biden to win over
Yes.
Trump, said
is
to
true.
me this afternoon,
He's very clued in, Mr. Trump, isn't he?
better
He does. He's very in tune to comic books and pop culture, Stella.
Yeah,
Surprisingly.
I've put my feet on the ground today. I've zeroed out or whatever you.
You did some grounding.
Yeah.
You made fist with your toes.
Make fists with my toes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Jace. Yes, I'm excited to join Tyler tomorrow to talk about Fannie Willis. I always love talking about Fannie Willis. She is super corrupt. Yeah, so Biden's making everybody wait here. Is he pulling a page out of your book, Trump, by showing up late to the party? Who is that weird-looking alien in the red jacket?
He's not doing it on purpose, though.
No, he's probably in the wrong room.
You know, maybe he's getting 25th Amendment right now.
He's probably beating
Wow.
somebody thinking it's corn pop in another room.
Look at the color coordination. Like everyone's in blue, red, and white.
They
Is that
always have that
normal?
color coordination. Yeah, some sort of
Oh,
weird
okay.
thing going on.
all
Oh,
part
here
of the
we go.
tradition, is it?
that issue
We're
when
not
it was
still.
on the ballot.
So I like to watch the dynamic in the background with Mike Scott or Mike Johnson here and Kamala. Kamala will be clapping and standing up and down. Johnson will be scowling. CNN did say that Johnson, because they were talking about Biden being ready for heckles, and they said on CNN that House Speaker Mike Johnson probably told the Republicans, just don't do it. Just don't heckle Biden because he will come back at you and you won't like that. So CNN is creating this fear of Biden shutting down hecklers, which I think is pretty hilarious.
It's that, what is he, Dark Biden?
Oh, wow.
I think it would be, he might dribble on the front row, perhaps. That could be quite threatening.
Is it Darth Biden?
It's
What's
Dark
the,
Biden. We're going to get darker Darth Biden. Laser
What's
eyes.
that? It's him with the laser eyes and the sunglasses, like he's Cyclops.
Did you see that guy just do a fist pound? So, Nightmare Man says, I saw on X that the motorcade is being blocked by Palestine protesters. That's pretty funny. We had a road shut down in Atlanta today because somebody was protesting Cop City. I think they like chained themselves to a construction site or something. Oh, we have Ian from the Next Generation spaceship today.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey, Ian.
Hey, Stella.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I love it. I love it, JB. So JB, Ian, last night is the one who had the idea of maybe Nikki Haley runs as Gavin Newsom's vice president.
Oh yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Look at Senator Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
You know, I could take you to my
Yucking it
room
up.
and show you my dick.
Is that his lay next to him?
Yeah, he's gonna bang.
This is the latest that Bernie Sanders can be out.
Yeah, this is his one night of the year. He gets to stay out past 6:30.
And from the White House is that they are not looking.
There is going to be so many
cases against Trump.
I wanna
over
say I love
70
it, Ian.
sex
I love
going
it,
on
Ian.
tonight.
From the President of the United States to you, hello.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Mr. President. It's an honor to be with you once again. I consider myself one of the luckiest people alive, to be honest.
Yeah, I would really, if he is being held up by these protesters, I would like for them to cut to the protesters and just
that'd be
Secret
good.
Service just mowing them down with machine guns or something. Just show us something completely. I think we're reaching the level of total absurdity. I'd like us to get there tonight.
I think the fact that Biden is even going to be here at all is total absurdity. So anything else is just,
I would.
hundreds and thousands.
You know what they need to do? They need to have like bed and breakfast interviews with Biden, where the first thing when he wakes up, somebody's there to interview him and ask him if he remembers what he did the night before.
Yeah,
Oh,
my
after
hot-
they've changed him. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, my hot take is that the stakes are super high. Biden has to perform flawlessly, or every independent voter is going Trump. Because they're not going to debate. This is it.
This is what they were talking about on CNN. A number of takes. Van Jones said he wanted to see a fighting grandpa up there tonight, is what he said.
Really?
Another
Was he a
pundit
fighting
said,
grandpa?
yeah, this other guy said he doesn't want to see President Biden from the White House tonight. He wants to see Joe from Scranton, is what he wants to see.
Yeah.
And then they started talking about how America is going to be watching because Biden's body is changing, going through puberty finally.
Yeah.
Yeah, Biden's finally gone through puberty. He's gonna get fur on his testicles.
Finally, yeah. He's been, no grass on the field. Uh-oh, here they
They'd
are.
he'd be
Here's the
dragging them on the ground by now.
Here's the first gentleman, this gay guy that pretends to love Kamala.
Of the vice president,
She's so proud of
Harris,
him.
who you see there on stage,
I know I talk about it a lot, but I actually think it's like hilarious that Kamala married this guy right before she first ran for president in like 2015. All his kids were adults already, and the media immediately started calling her Mama Kamala, talking about her mothering nature and how important it is. I'm like, she's not a mother. She adopted adult kids or whatever.
Going through at a moment like this, the pressures they're under. We've been talking.
I bet they've never had sex, Kamala and this gay guy.
Yeah, all the hard work was out of the way by the time she came
Right,
along.
totally, yeah. Well, she did some hard work on her own to make. She was
I
like
think
the
that's
Nathan
Chilton.
Wade of women. Nathan Wade being the guy who plowed his way through a bunch of fat black women in Georgia to get the prosecutor job.
I love seeing the small talk that we can't hear, between Kamala and Johnson.
What do you think they're saying to each other?
Oh, they're saying, fuck you fucking asshole. And then it was going, no, fuck you.
Maybe Johnson's like, I'm about to give you a little Johnson later tonight, Kamala.
You're going down,
Here we go.
Kamala.
Well, here's
She's in-
Dr. Jill.
Is she
Dr.
wearing
Jill.
sage? Is that sage green or is
That
it
is,
grey?
yeah. I would say sage green, you're right.
That guy looks like a Rothschild. So there she is. Everybody's she's
Ooh.
they say she's like an elementary school teacher or something. Does she go back and forth to Delaware to teach elementary? I love the Dr. Jill thing. So if somebody buys into that propaganda, what if they're choking at a restaurant and Dr. Jill is the only one around? They're like, Dr. Jill, do something.
Yeah. She'll give him a spelling test.
Yeah, she'll do a spelling bee to get the thing out of their throat.
Session.
I think she's had a bit of work because she looks a bit different somehow. Although
Could be her.
I don't
swap.
see her every day like
did
you
you
guys
see him
do.
do that? He just did the.
We don't know
That
how many
dude's
people are playing First Lady Jill Biden right now.
Yeah, I was just wondering. There's several Joes, so there's got to be
Oh,
at least
right.
a couple of Jills, you know.
Yeah.
So something to go back and look at later. Anthony Blinken, before they announced him,
this
I don't know if
guy.
you saw that, but he was like he was in the tunnel of an NFL game. Like I'm watching the movie The Program, which Ian, you have a story about one of those actors there. But Blinken goes and starts rubbing his teeth like he just snorted 2 or 3 lines of blow before he came out.
For President Biden, as David Chalian outlined all the
Yeah,
things, all the
Undefined is just saying how old they look.
It's just like this room probably reeks of mothballs.
cabinet there, the Secretary of
At
Agriculture,
least.
Thomas
Mr. President, what do you think?
Thomas Gina
It just-
and on and on.
They just all look like ants.
Designated,
Did they all have to have their diapers
Yeah.
scanned as they entered, or what?
so it's not her.
All this gripping and grinning.
I would love to see President Trump kick open the door mid-speech and challenge Biden to a wrestling match.
Look at butt edge.
I'd take him down. You know, I've been thinking about my finishing move a lot too.
Oh, really? What kind of move would you use?
You know, I'm a big fan of the spear.
Oh, you would spear him. So you would stand up on like a podium or something and pile drive him.
Take the crossbow.
Who do you take inspiration from in the wrestling world?
Well, you know, Goldberg was the guy with the spear.
Yeah, Goldberg was wild. Look at that old white clan.
And say that word.
Not carrying out his duties at the border. The border obviously was
It'd be funny if they segregated the black people in Congress. Gave them like a tiny booth in the top.
You know, I've run into a couple people lately that have said,
the issue of the border.
Kennedy has a lot of interesting things to say. And I haven't heard anything
That issue, so
or seen anything
removed from office.
about him since he left the Democrats.
You're talking about RFK and not Kennedy, the Louisiana senator, right?
Yeah, RFK.
Well, yeah, he was doing independent, and he's trying to get on the Libertarian Party ticket. There's actually something going on online today where the Libertarians are considering a trade-off to allow him to run as their candidate. There's a lot of people that oppose it.
Trade-off. What are they going to send, like, Toad?
Yeah, no, the Toad has to be the vice president with RFK Jr. That's the trade-off. Toad and RFK.
I am wondering about all this COVID spreading, kissing business going on. I mean, what's the story?
Where's their mask? You're right,
What?
Stella.
Not a mask. Well, that was actually pointed out by Undefined there in the chat. But yes, I was thinking this could be a super spreader event, couldn't it?
I would have
Oh,
liked to
very
have
much
seen everyone to get jabbed on the way in.
They're basically
They're all
domestic
vaxxed.
terrorists.
There was a story we didn't get to yesterday, Ian, about this German guy who intentionally got like 300 COVID shots.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
'cause-
yeah.
he shoot, like,
It's the
Apparently.
biggest.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, 200. I've read about that today. And nothing happened. Sorry, I got a cat that's behind the computer.
That's the biggest roundup of Christian nationalists I've seen in a
bunch
while.
of Christian white nationalists
I know.
right here.
I know. I wonder if they're putting all that fencing up because the Christian white nationalists are going to attack the White House.
Well, JB said it earlier. It looks like an insurrection. This is a powder keg. People at any minute, if something goes wrong, would rip their shirts off, put horns on their head, and start stealing podiums.
Yes.
Yeah, 2024 is going to change America for a while.
It's
No matter
already
what
wild.
happens, no matter
you know?
what happens in November, it's going to be everything after that's going to be lots of changes. I think.
Yeah, and you like to think, look at there's Bobert right there. Show a little more cleavage, Bobert.
No, she's obviously not wearing any kind of cleavagey thing.
Bobert's
tonight.
hot. I'm going to be honest
yeah.
with you. Her son just got arrested for breaking into cars. and
Son's
he
a wild boy.
apparently made a sex tape. I think her son has a kid. I think that's the one. She's a 37-year-old grandmother.
Yeah, he's
Gilf.
19 or
Oh.
18, I think.
Yeah.
Started early.
Yeah, but her husband has been doing some crazy stuff. I feel sorry for her husband. Imagine being married to someone since high school, probably the hot chick in high school. And then she becomes a congresswoman, and all of a sudden, she's famous after she gets a divorce from you, she's famous for rubbing somebody's Johnson and getting her boobs felt up. And that's all
did
you
you
see.
just say that her grandson was 17 years old?
No, her son. Her son is 18.
Her son, who has a kid, and his kid is 15.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so her ex-husband,
Still thinking.
there's a restraining order against him, and rightfully so. But honestly, you're living a regular life. You have a problem in your marriage, and all of a sudden, your wife's tits and her getting fondled is why she's famous. You're gonna be messed up. It's like he needs to get away. His friends need to take him in, and he needs to find another good-looking chick very quickly. That's what he needs to do, or he's going to kill somebody.
Who's the one that turned up in the green? She didn't get the memo.
Yeah, who is that? That's a weird. That's
Always
like
somebody has to stand out. There's always one in every crowd, isn't there?
Yeah.
It's probably for a reason. Probably by design.
Who is this guy?
The town crier, I think.
They need to surround
Announcer.
Biden with people who are over 100
Yeah,
and make him
they
look
need to,
young.
like,
Oh,
we
he's
need,
had some work.
they need to add some trumpets and some fanfare to this.
Carry him in on a, a king.
Yeah,
seat.
carry him in, yeah.
Ooh.
Look at him. He has no idea where he is right now. That guy.
You're about to give a speech, sir.
If I were one of the people that he
Where am I again?
talked to, I would do the gibberish game in improv. I would go just to see if he responded.
Imagine if he had a heart attack at the podium.
He might.
This could be
There's probably a delay. They'd sweep him off and bring another Biden in before we even.
True. Oh, they've definitely tightened the wax on his face. Absolutely.
So that guy's the UFO guy, and I don't like that guy. He's
How
full of
long is
shit.
it going to take him to get up to
Why
that
don't
podium?
these get done after, like when he's leaving, instead of before? Like, get to the fun stuff.
Well, right. This is the show of it. Like, what was that guy so urgently telling Biden? Biden's not going to remember anything anybody says right now. I think it's got to be people just trying to get their. This is like extras. So when you film a commercial or a movie or something, you have the people who've been cast to audition, and then you
wait a
have the
second.
extras.
You know what this is? He can't last more than 25 minutes.
Right. So he's probably going to speak for like 3 minutes. So he's going to walk up.
And now it'll look like the whole State of the Union was an hour.
Yeah.
His eyes do look weird, don't they?
Yeah. JB says is he wearing eye makeup. He looks like Richard Lewis in Curb Your Enthusiasm to me.
He's
who
most
just died.
definitely wearing makeup. He went to hair and makeup
Oh,
before this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, he's even had that little bit at the back of his hair trim. That was nice. It always amuses me, that bit.
Which one?
The little bit at the back of his hair, like the
Oh,
bottom of
look
his
at that
hair.
Make America
It
Great
just has its
hat.
own mind.
Somebody had a MAGA hat.
MGT. I think that's MGT right there.
Oh, he's so popular.
You
They love
hear
him,
them
don't
screaming? This is about the soul of America, which Biden said he was running the first time and this time to fight for
Who
the
was
soul
that
of America.
Dracula that he
Look at all these people in the light.
The soul of America.
You got you black. You voting for me? You black. So with extras, sometimes extras
is
will try to do a
ridiculous.
little too much to try and project themselves into the scene, hoping the director will say, "Well, I like that extra. You're a star." I feel like that's what a lot of is going on right now. It's extras trying to be noticed. Save democracy.
Save democracy. Ugh.
Biden enters the House chamber for the State of the Union address. CNN was also talking about how Biden loves the House chamber because he was in Congress for so long, and they said he was always the young guy. He was younger than, just trying to create this image of him being viral, an aggressive grandpa.
Go get him, angry grandpa. Can I get a picture?
The most telling thing, one of the most telling things to me is that Biden never does a public appearance that is not tightly controlled. Trump will go to these pizza parlors, and yeah, there's some control elements, but it's a little freewheeling because he can react in real time. Biden cannot. Looks
Has
like
he got
Ian.
much further to go?
I hope not. They're gonna have to bring out a
They
wheelchair.
really, yeah, I was just going to say, they really should have had one of those little scooter things. You
Yeah,
just,
you know what?
plow
I
through the crowd.
I wish Biden would have been carrying a Palestinian baby with some shrapnel stuck in its neck on his way up to the podium, just to show that he cares.
Is there some kind of
There's Mitt
formula,
Romney.
like who wears the white and who wears the blue and who
Well,
wears or
these
is it just a
active,
free choice?
it's these activist sects of Congress. Each year they get together. It was, I can't remember, the squad last year wore like, they might have worn white, but so those people in white are probably going to be shouting during very specific times. It's all like these people are all activists that are elected at this point, and so they use this as an opportunity for activism to get publicity.
It's funny because we've got I don't know if you've got them over there, but we've got white lady funerals, and I'm just
White lady funerals.
They all
what are
wear white,
those?
it's just a funeral company, but it's all women that do it. Like they're
Yeah.
more compassionate, blah blah. So they're the funeral directors. It's all women, and they all wear white, and they.
Yeah, they're more
People's
compassionate.
funerals.
Wait.
Oh, that's the perception.
Yeah.
Women are more compassionate.
I mean,
so.
that's interesting. So both my parents died. It was
Right.
men who ran it, and man, they were just like, "Well, your parents are dead. Let's burn them and get you out of here."
Exactly. That's my point. So, yeah. It's just, they're the front ladies. But it's just funny to see
Interesting.
Biden surrounded by...
By a bunch of white funeral ladies.
Well, it's in my head because that's what
Biden just took somebody just handed Biden a camera. They didn't want a selfie with Biden. They wanted Biden to take a picture of them with somebody else. Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer's escorting Biden in. And it's
What a
good to have
bunch
the
of bloody-
90-year-old escort the 80-year-old in.
A bunch of hooligans. What are they saying?
4 more years or 4 more queers. I don't know which.
4 more years.
We're at 9:22, and he's still walking up. He was about 12 minutes late. It's been a 10-minute approach. He's not Mick Jagger.
They're going to talk about what a great hour and a half long State of the Union we had.
I guarantee it. They will
with
say.
President
Yeah.
remote control.
They will say there's never been a president walk that vigorously and energetically.
So President Biden making his way down.
I hope when he gets up to the podium, he pats his jacket and goes, "Oh, I forgot something," and he makes an exit to go get whatever it is.
just walks
forgot.
off.
That's as long as his
Yeah.
entrance.
And he can't figure out how to leave.
Can't figure out how to leave.
Greetings,
That would be the
Oh, and he
ideal.
stutters. Those are the only things wrong he's ever done.
This is one of
Yeah.
the great moments.
Let's
in
go,
American
Brandon. That's what I wanted to
politics,
hear him
watching
calling
the
it.
president, whoever he is, come down.
If
see
anybody
all
hasn't
the
seen
government, you see people
Biden's
in both
appearance on
major
Seth
political
Meyers, which we
parties,
covered on the show, me and
there
Mr.
is,
President Trump here played the
no
clips.
matter what
I encourage you to go
has been
watch it,
said, there
and
is
while
some
you're watching Seth
degree,
Meyers
even during
totally
hard
control this
times,
interview and set up all these dark Brandon jokes with Biden and his sunglasses that he can't even put on right. Watch it knowing that the next day The View talked about how his Seth Meyers appearance made him look vigorous, hilarious, able to respond off the cuff, and energetic, which is the most gaslighting analysis I've ever heard in my life.
Those are the people who come in with
Yeah, he's
the
dragging
president.
for
The
real,
time
dude.
Yeah,
to have
it's
their
really-
photos
It's going to be a real
Pretty
spunky
drawn out, isn't it?
grandfather day. Spunky
Yeah,
grandfather.
The problem
Anyone-
is he's reminding us all that we're going to get old. And that's what's also unsettling.
Congress does that in general, but yeah, you're right about that. And everything's online now. But just watching all of these people that get nothing done, that have a approval level of like 10% as a body, just sit here and mingle with each other.
Go do something else. Go play with your grandkids. Get out of here.
Well, stop wasting our time. It reminds me of people who stop in the middle of the supermarket aisle to chat. It's
Totally.
like, "Can you do
Jerk
this
each
later?"
other off at Bohemian Grove. We don't give a shit about your elitism.
Yeah.
Let's hear the president stumble through some sentences.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that was a man in the military outfit, because it could have definitely passed for
Rachel Levine, yeah.
You're talking about
probably.
no.
a man trying to be
That-
a woman.
That was
Oh, I
Rachel
see. That's
Levine, the first
No,
woman.
not her. No, there was another one.
I didn't see it, but
Man
yeah,
trying to be a woman,
JB
but it
saw
might
it
have been
too.
Manny woman.
I'm sure it's probably Biden's guest.
Yeah.
All right, now here's the.
Yeah, detached lobes. We were discussing whether it's going to be long lobes or short lobes. Or...
Just for once, I wish they would cut to the audience and just show somebody pretending to jerk off instead of clapping. Oh, okay. Just
Ew, she's so proud. He made it to the podium.
Dr. Jill, armed with her spelling bee.
Good evening.
We rehearsed that. He did well.
Good evening. If I were smart, I'd go home now.
Yep.
No, you're here to stay, mate.
Good. Yeah. Hell of an opener.
Ooh, he looks evil when he smiles.
Mr. Speaker,
I hope that
the
Johnson
Vice
slaps
President,
Kamala's
members of
ass.
Congress, my fellow Americans, in January
Look at his hands.
1941, Franklin Roosevelt came to this chamber to speak to the nation, and he said, I address you at a moment unprecedented in the history of the Union. Hitler was on the march. War was raging in Europe. President Roosevelt's purpose was to wake up Congress and alert the American people that this was no ordinary time. Freedom and democracy were under assault in the world. Tonight, I come to this same chamber to address the nation. Now, it's we who face an unprecedented moment in the history of the Union. And yes, my purpose tonight is to wake up the Congress and alert the American people that this is no ordinary moment either. Not since President Lincoln and the Civil War have freedom and democracy been under assault at home as they are today. What makes our moment rare is that freedom and democracy are under attack both at home and overseas at the very same time. Overseas, Putin of Russia is on the march,
Putin of Russia.
invading Ukraine and sowing chaos throughout Europe and beyond.
On the march.
If anybody in this
It's
room
on
thinks
the
Putin will stop at Ukraine, I assure you he will
He's
not.
coming to your house next.
He's on the march.
Kamala, stand up. There you
Vladimir
go.
Putin.
Oh, well, well predicted.
Take a drink.
Oh my gosh.
Ukraine can stop Putin.
Where's the white?
Ukraine can stop Putin if we stand with Ukraine and provide the
Stand up, Kamala. Put your thing. There you go.
weapons to defend itself.
Take another drink. Who's that robot?
Turtleneck.
We need to stand up.
That is all
As
Ukraine
we
is
stand
asking.
up with
They're not
Ukraine.
asking for American soldiers. In fact, there are no American soldiers at war in Ukraine, and I'm determined to keep it that way.
Well, that means they're coming.
But
That's
now,
not even
Means
true.
That means he's going to start
assistance to
sending
Ukraine is
them.
being
You're right.
blocked by those who want to walk away from our world leadership.
They're already there, though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't long ago when a Republican president named Ronald Reagan thundered, Mr. Gorbachev,
Thundered.
tear down this wall.
Stand up, Kamala. Stand up, you bitch. Do it.
It's like he's come fresh from drama class.
Okay. So they can only stand up when they know
Now
the other
my
one won't stand up.
predecessor, a former Republican president tells Putin,
It's a
quote,
game.
do whatever the hell you want. That's a quote. A former president
That's a
actually
quote.
said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's
Whatever.
outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
Stand up, Kamala. Number 3.
So
I'm
what,
keeping a tally.
This is the State of the Union. Come
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Kamala's doing some squats tonight.
America is a founding member of NATO, the military alliance of democratic nations, created after World War II to prevent war
Prevent.
and keep the peace. And today, we've made NATO stronger than ever. We welcomed Finland to the alliance last year. And just this morning,
Forced Finland.
Sweden
Oh, with
officially
Finland, we're
joined,
unstoppable.
and their minister is here tonight.
Hey,
that's
Fred.
it. That's his guest, is the fucking Finland minister.
Oh, okay.
Who's probably...
Fred, are we able to turn the captions on, the closed captions, see what the AI thinks of Biden, of what he's saying?
Let me see.
And they know how to
That could be
fight.
funny.
I don't
Mr.
think
Prime
this
Minister,
site has
welcome to
them,
NATO, the
actually.
strongest
not.
military alliance
That's
the
a good
world
idea.
has ever seen. I say this to Congress, we have to stand up to Putin. Send me a bipartisan national security bill. History is literally watching. History is
Harris
watching.
and Johnson are
History
holding
The United
hands
States
right now.
walks away, it will put Ukraine at risk. Europe is at risk. The free world will be at risk, emboldening others to do what they wish to do us harm.
Whoosh.
My message to President Putin, who I've known for a long time, is simple. We will not walk away.
Stand up, Kamala. I do like to pretend while this is going on that
Wait.
Kamala Harris and Mike Johnson are forbidden lovers hiding
We will
their
not bow
secret.
down.
Such a bad actor, isn't he?
I
He always
will
looks like
not
he's
bow down.
trying to do a Clint Eastwood, but really
He
badly.
will not bow. Angry Grandpa Pelosi's
Oh my
moist.
gosh.
I know people hate
In
that
a
word.
literal sense, history is watching. History is watching.
What does that mean?
Doesn't
what does
make
that
sense.
phrase
Just
mean?
like history watched 3 years ago on January 6th.
History is watching.
Oh, January 6th.
When
Here we go.
insurrectionists stormed this very Capitol and placed a dagger to the throat of American democracy. Many of you are here on that darkest of days.
Darkest.
We all saw with our own
Nobody
eyes.
was there.
The insurrectionists were not patriots. They'd come to stop the peaceful transfer of power, to overturn the will of the people.
It's not true at all.
January 6th lies about the 2020 election and the plots to steal the election posed a great, gravest threat to U.S. democracy
Great gravest.
since the Civil War. But they failed.
Great gravest since the Civil War.
Kept them in jail without
America
trial.
stood.
Stand up, Kamala. That was the great
America
gravest threat
stood.
since the Civil War. It's a quotable though.
America stood strong and democracy prevailed.
Oh, yeah.
We must be honest. The threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. This is the moment to speak the truth and to bury the lies.
He's going to open a
Here's the
museum.
simple truth. You can't love your country only when you win.
What is that? Oh, the election. Right.
You can't love your country only when you win.
Because election machines could. Fulton County's been held hostage by a cyber hacker for a month and a half now, except for the Dominion voting machines, the only thing unhackable.
You really think cyber hackers are a
since
greater
being
threat to
elected to
democracy
office.
than Trump?
I ask all of you, without regard to party, to join together and defend democracy. Remember your oath of office to defend against all threats, foreign and domestic. Respect free and fair elections. Restore trust in our institutions.
Or you ain't black.
And make clear political violence has absolutely no place in America. Zero place.
Stand up,
That's the
Kamala.
Republican president.
Oh, Kamala stand up.
Again,
Mr. President, I can't hear you.
it's not hyperbole.
Standing ovation.
To suggest history
Not
is watching.
hyperbole. Again,
We're
history's watching.
Your children and grandchildren will read about this day and what we do. History is watching another assault on freedom.
Yeah, I'm sure they will.
Joining us tonight is Latoya Beasley, a social worker from Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, good.
14 months ago, she and her husband welcomed a baby girl thanks to the miracle of IVF.
And
She
Dr.
scheduled
Jill.
treatments to
Was
have
he
that
the
second
donor, or-
child. The Alabama Supreme Court shut down IVF treatments across the state, unleashed by a Supreme Court decision overturning Roe v. Wade. She was told her dream would have to wait. What her family had got through should never have happened. Unless Congress acts, it could happen again. So tonight, let's stand up for families like hers. To my friends across the aisle, don't keep
And let's
this waiting any
abort their
longer.
babies.
Stand up, Kamala. Yes.
Guaranteed
Don't
right
drop
there.
those IVF. Wow, that's number 7
Guarantee it
on the
nationwide.
stand-up standing ovation. If only there were a Nazi here, we'd be doubling these standing ovations like Canada does it.
She could have got her roots done.
Like most Americans, I believe Roe v. Wade got it right. I thank Vice President Harris for being an
Roe v.
incredible
Wade.
leader defending reproductive freedom.
He sounds like
So much more.
Scooby.
I think his shot's starting to wear off, I think.
Yeah, they need to run somebody up there.
My predecessor
shot in the
came to office
IV.
determined to see Roe v. Wade overturned. He's the reason it was overturned, and he brags about it. Look at the chaos that has resulted.
Wombs ripped out.
Joining us tonight is Kate Cox,
Kate
a wife and
Cox.
mother from Dallas. She's become pregnant again and had a fetus with a fatal condition. Her doctor told Kate that her own life and her ability to have children in the future were at risk if she didn't
He almost
act.
nailed it.
Because Texas law
That was an
banned her
important
ability
moment.
to act,
He messed up.
Kate and her husband had to leave the state to get what she needed. What her family got through should have never happened as well, but it's happening in too many others.
We don't know what happened
There
because
are
he.
state laws banning the freedom to choose, criminalizing doctors, forcing survivors of rape and incest
Who's
to
the
leave
woman on
their
the left?
states to get the treatment they need.
Arnie
looks like an
Schwarzenegger's
Many
wife,
of you in
wasn't
this
it?
chamber
It looks like, yeah.
and
it's
my
really
predecessor are promising to pass a national ban on reproductive freedom. My God, what freedom else would you
nice.
take
God,
away?
stand up, Kamala.
Look,
Look how stone-faced she
it's a
is.
decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the
The
following.
euphemisms are great.
And with all due respect,
Reproductive
Justices,
freedom. I love
women are
it.
not without
As a linguistics
electoral
major, you
power.
would like that.
Oh, I love the euphemisms.
Excuse me, electoral or political power.
Yes.
You're about to realize just how much you are.
Yeah, don't mess with women. Stand up, Kamala.
Yeah, stand
Hell
up,
yeah.
show us what you got,
stands up,
Kamala.
and the black guy, what's the guy's name who admitted himself to the hospital? He has to stand up to show he's
He's
alive.
just campaigning.
What?
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Let's cut to Rachel Levine.
Clearly,
Yeah, I want to see Biden's high heels.
Let's show a real
those
woman.
bragging about overturning Roe v. Wade have no clue about the power of women.
Ah, he's on some
But
super.
they found out when reproductive freedom was on the ballot. We won in
Amphetamines tonight.
2022 and 2020, and we'll win again in 2024.
Stand up, Kamala. Hope you're wearing. What's the improv girl that Bob used to coach that did the Spanx?
Here's what's
If
it?
you're wearing your Spanx.
If you, the American people, send me a Congress that supports the right to choose, I promise you, I'll restore Roe v. Wade as the law of the land again.
Stand up. Yes.
How would you do that? How would you do that?
He executive order, dude.
Yeah. Explain.
Folks, America cannot go back.
He thinks he's rolling.
I'm here tonight to show what I believe is the way forward. Because I know how far we've come.
I wish he'd take his
4
penis
years ago
out,
next week,
personally.
before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses?
Yeah.
Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus?
I remember the
It
grocery
took more
prices
than 1
right
million
now,
American
so-
lives, of loved ones,
And the lockdowns.
millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness.
This guy's full of shit. He did this
President,
shit.
my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential
Possibly
duty
literally.
that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable. I came to office determined to get us through one of the toughest periods in the nation's history. We have. It doesn't make news in 1,000 cities and towns. The American people are writing the greatest comeback story never told.
Really? Yeah, no. Stand up, Kamala. Every
That'll be
time.
History
That'll be
is
the-
watching. History is watching.
That's what I say every time I pay at Publix. $70 for
History.
toilet paper and
Tell it
coffee.
here now.
History's watching.
Yeah.
America's comeback is building the future of American possibilities, building an economy from the middle out and the bottom up, not the top down, investing in all America, in all Americans, to make sure everyone has a fair shot, and we leave no one behind.
All right, so
The pandemic no longer controls our lives. The vaccines that saved us from COVID are now being used to beat cancer, turning setback into comeback. That's what America does.
Stand up for that. I wish Dr. Jill would come give him a booster right now.
Okay,
It
I want to
feels
know
like-
where the telecue is.
Folks,
There
Yeah.
must be a huge one right up the back.
my inherited economy is on the brink. Now our economy is literally the envy of the world.
Is it?
15 million new jobs in just 3 years, a record.
Yeah.
A record.
$300 for one
Yeah.
bag
No, it's
of
called How to
groceries.
Lie with Statistics is what it is.
At 50-year lows.
What about gas prices?
Record
Grocery
16
prices?
million Americans are starting small businesses, and
Rent.
each one is a literal act of hope.
Oh, shut up.
With historic job growth and small business growth
He's
for
full
Black
of
and Hispanics and Asian Americans, 800,000 new manufacturing jobs in America.
No regular
and counting.
person believes any of this. Like they're rich, so they don't go shopping for groceries and
Yeah.
shit.
he is not. Deliver this speech to a crowd of regular people, not your peers.
They will boo you and tell you to
They
go
would tell
fuck
you
off.
you are fucking full of shit.
The
Who's the
racial
fella
wealth
on the
gap
right?
is as small as it's been in 20
That's
years.
House Speaker Mike
Wages
Johnson.
keep going up. Inflation keeps coming down.
Yeah.
Inflation has dropped from 9% to 3%, the lowest in the world, and tending lower.
The words are getting sloshy, Denver. I agree. Stand up. You got to stand up. Kind
the
of.
landing
And
is
he
and
just
will be
makes up
soft.
whatever he wants.
Yeah, he does.
And now, instead of importing foreign products and exporting American
We're
jobs,
at 14
we're
stand-ups.
exporting American products and creating American jobs. Right
Is this
here
a
in
stand-up
America,
moment?
where they belong.
Yeah, got to do it. Do it, Kamala. You can't.
So the speaker is a neutral guy, yeah?
He's a Republican.
And it takes time,
Okay,
but
so
the
he's not
American
gonna
people are
stand up.
beginning to
No.
feel it.
Yes, that's the dynamic
Consumer
behind
studies
it.
show consumer confidence is soaring.
Well, if you didn't
Buy
stand up, you
America
wouldn't know if the people were
Has been the
cheering
law of the
or not.
land since the 1930s.
That's
Past
why I imagine
administrations,
forbidden
including
love.
my predecessor, including some Democrats as well in the past, failed to buy American. Not anymore. On my watch, federal projects that you fund, like helping build American
Kamala
roads,
does
bridges,
not
and
move her
highways,
face.
will be made with American products and built by American workers.
Like sending envoys across the world to talk about transgender people to other countries.
Yeah, you talk about knowing when you're still on camera, even when you're not talking. Kamala is so aware she's on camera.
None of these people are
The United
affected by
States
inflation.
invested
They're
more
all
in research and
stupid
development
rich.
than ever before.
Fucking assholes.
During
Totally.
the pandemic, a shortage
Yeah,
of
fuck 'em.
semiconductors, chips, that drove up the price of everything from cell phones to automobiles. And by the way, we
to
invented
potato
those chips
chips.
right here in America. Well, instead of having to import them, private companies are now investing billions of dollars to build new chip factories here in America, creating tens of thousands of jobs. Many of those jobs paying $100,000 a year and don't
He is
require a
getting
college
angry.
degree.
Put his foot down.
There's Elizabeth Warren in purple, the color of royalty.
In fact, my policies have attracted $650 billion in private sector investment in clean energy, advanced manufacturing, creating tens of thousands of jobs here in America.
I think he's emphasizing the angry at the wrong part of time. you know, he didn't run this monologue well enough.
And thanks to our bipartisan infrastructure law, 46,000 new projects have been announced all
Bisexual.
across your communities. And by the way, I noticed some of you strongly voted against it, or they're cheering on that money coming in.
It's just crazy that he looks like he's from the movie The Grinch and How Gay His Face is. Budovich.
Oh, yeah.
If any of you don't want that money in your district, just let me know.
I'll send it to Ukraine.
Modernizing our roads and bridges, ports and airports, public transit systems. Removing poisonous lead pipes so every child can drink clean water.
Stand up,
Stop
Kamala.
brain damage.
There you go, Kamala. So your children, Kamala,
You
your
know.
stepchildren can drink
Providing
clean water.
affordable high-speed internet for every American, no matter where you live, urban, suburban, or rural communities, in red states and blue states.
What if somebody has faster
Record
internet than
investments
me?
in tribal communities. Because of my investment in a family farm,
Yeah, hell yeah.
because I invested in family farms led by my Secretary of Agriculture, who knows more about
I
this
think
than
he
anybody
thinks
I
he's in
know.
like a VR game. He doesn't
We're
look
better
like he
able
knows
to
he's
stay
here.
in the family for those farms and their children and grandchildren won't have to leave home to make a living.
Go off the
It's
script.
transformative.
Transformative.
The great comeback story is Belvedere, Illinois,
Oh, great.
home to an auto plant for nearly 60 years.
Gonna be a heartstring
Before I
story.
came to office, the plant was on its way to shutting down. Thousands of workers feared for their livelihoods. Hope was fading. Then I was elected to office, and we raised
And then he
Belvedere
was
repeatedly with
elected.
auto companies, knowing unions would make all the difference. The UAW worked like hell to keep the plant open and get these jobs back, and together we succeeded.
Look at Kamala.
Instead of auto factories shutting down, auto factories reopening, and new state-of-the-art battery factories being built to power those cars there at the same
Triple A batteries for everybody, double A's for some, little square batteries for others.
And if you don't agree with me, I'll take you behind the bar.
Who fucking cares
Yeah,
about anything?
beat you like your corn pop.
About
Folks
right
of
now.
Belvedere, I say, instead of your town being left behind, your community is moving forward again. Because instead of watching auto jobs in the future, go
Kamala's
overseas,
makeup person needs a
4,000
raise.
union jobs.
I reckon
with
she's
higher
practiced
wages
really hard
are
to keep
building the
that
future
stone
in
face.
Belvedere
Absolutely.
Right here
and
in
her
America.
makeup looks great. Another stand-up.
Speech to lips shut.
Kamala doesn't look that good in the natural, in the wild.
In the wild.
Here tonight
Yeah.
is UAW President Sean Fain, a great friend and a great labor leader. Sean, where are you? Stand
Yeah, I
up.
reckon she's fully Botoxed. Yeah.
Yeah, so it should say Sean Fine, UA Vav
They all
Vav.
And Dawn Sims,
We are
third
at
generation
20
worker,
stand-ups now.
UAW
Sims?
worker at Belvedere. Sean,
Mr.
I was proud to
Belvedere
be
is
the
here.
first president to stand on the picket line, and today, Dawn has a good job in
He
her
was there for-
hometown, providing
He was at a
stability to
photo
her
op
family
is what he was
and
at.
pride
20
and
minutes.
dignity as well.
That wasn't a real
Showing once
picture.
And the
again,
president standing at a
Wall Street
picket
didn't
line
build America.
is
They're not bad guys.
is
They didn't
terrible.
build it, though. The middle class. built the
He's
country.
protesting
And
himself.
unions
Why are
built
you
the middle
taking a
class.
side?
One more time, Kamala. There you go.
Good that we're
Look
not
at
playing
that.
a drinking game.
Ooh.
Hello.
That's
wore
a
pink.
Starbucks barista, it looks like to me.
What was that?
Starbucks barista.
I say to the American people, when America gets knocked down,
Yeah,
we
nothing
get
specific,
back
right?
up.
We get up and Kamala gets up.
That's America.
This is a joke.
Vax America?
Vax
Did he just
America.
Did he just say that?
That's you, the American people.
He might have.
Or was it Tax America?
Because of you, America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you that tonight we can proudly say the state of our union is strong and getting stronger.
Oh, stand up. So this is part of why he has had to get rid of 2 dogs in 2 years, because they amp him up on amphetamines, and he aggressively yells these talking points at these dogs.
Yeah, it's strong and getting stronger.
Nobody
get him,
actually
like,
believes 4 more years for this guy.
Tonight,
won't make
I
4
wanna
more
talk
weeks.
about the future
Right.
of possibilities that we can build together. A future where the days of trickle-down economics are over.
Yeah.
And the wealthy and biggest corporations no longer get all the tax breaks. And by the way, I understand corporations. I come from a state that has more corporations invested than every one of your states in the state of
That's
the United
funny.
States combined.
That's super funny.
And I represented it for 36 years. I'm not anti-corporation.
Yeah, they just
But I
hold
grew up
paperwork there.
in a home where trickle-down
Yes.
economics didn't put much on my dad's kitchen table.
Hell no.
That's why I determined to turn things around so the middle class does well. When they do well, the poor will way up
Wait
and
a
the wealthy
minute.
still do very
Trickle
well.
down economics
Hold
existed
on
back
a
then.
Hold on a second. He
There's
just
more
said
to do to
trickle-down
make sure we're
economics
feeling
didn't
the
put money
benefits
on
of
his
all we're
dad's
doing.
table.
That's what he said, yeah.
Americans pay more for prescription drugs than anywhere in the world. It's
Reagan
wrong,
was not the
and I'm
president.
ending it.
President must be happy about that.
So he's going to take care of the prescription prices, which I don't think they've actually gone down. This 10 years.
Nothing's gone down.
Except
This is
the-
all just
That was
platitudes.
fake.
None of this is
Right,
real.
closed and signed.
I
Mid-40s.
heard Kamala
Not
went
one
down
of
at some
you
point.
Republican buddies
Yes.
voted for it. We finally beat Big Pharma. Instead of paying $400 a month or thereabouts for insulin with diabetes,
didn't
and it only
beat
costs
Big
$10
Pharma.
to make, they only get paid $35 a month now and still make healthy
You are
profit.
Big Pharma. You are Fauci. You are Pfizer.
I wanna-
You are Taylor Swift. You are Travis Cleese.
But what to do next? I want to cap the cost of insulin at $35 a month for every American who needs it.
Everybody gets a free shot.
These are not the pressing issues that we want to hear you talk about.
This is just what
Yeah,
is
how
great.
come the diabetics
great.
get all the good stuff?
Gave Medicare the power to negotiate lower prices on prescription drugs.
This started at 9
Just
o'clock.
like the VA is
It took
able
him
to do
20
for
minutes to
veterans.
walk in. He still hasn't talked
You're
about
right.
the
That's
border.
not just saving seniors money.
Yeah.
It's saving taxpayers money.
Oh, good.
We cut the
Who
federal
cares?
debt by a
Why is he wearing a
$160
You did not.
billion.
Oh, now I put some mask on.
Thank you.
What a.
Get up. I'm going. I got a mask on.
Because
Woman.
Medicare
What
no
a
longer
publicity
have to pay
stunt,
those
Bernie.
exorbitant prices to Big Pharma.
Fucking communist.
This year, Medicare is negotiating lower prices for some of the
Oh, yeah,
costliest drugs
he's
on the
talking
market.
about Big
To
Pharma.
treat everything from heart disease to arthritis.
Good impersonation, Mr.
It's now
President.
time to go
Thank
further
you.
and give
Thank
Medicare
you.
the power to
I've been
negotiate
working
lower prices for 500 different drugs over the next decade.
Kamala
Sounds like-
looks like
sounds to
a
me-
Yes. Go ahead.
Sounds to me
Sarah.
like Biden
We're
is
making a lot of
catching up
money,
to
guys.
Australia, because that's we've got that pretty much wrapped up here.
And they'll still be
Medicare and-
extremely
I'm
profitable.
impressed how Kamala keeps
Will not
eye
only save
contact.
lives, it will save taxpayers
Stone
another
face on camera.
$200 billion.
She's,
She looks like a
rehearsed.
drag queen.
Starting next year, the same law caps total prescription drug costs for seniors
Trans, Mr.
on
President.
Medicare
Speaker looks
at
bored to
$200
tears.
to
Did I leave the iron
$2,000 a
on?
year. even for expensive cancer drugs that cost $10,000, $12,000, $15,000. Now I want to cap prescription drug costs at $2,000 a year for everyone.
Get up. Stand up, you bitch. That's number 29 stand-ups.
29 stand-ups. That's one every 2 minutes.
29 standing O's.
But anyone to get an Air Force One and fly to Toronto, Berlin,
When he was
Moscow,
comparing himself and us to
even
being at
Moscow,
the brink
probably.
of the middle
Bring
of
your
World War
prescription with you. I
II
promise
and
you, I'll
his
get it for you for
presidency
40% the cost you're paying now. Same company,
is
same drug,
ridiculous.
same place. Folks,
It's wheeling and
the
dealing
Affordable
drugs.
Care Act, the old Obamacare,
Yeah, Obamacare.
Bribe and
it's
Biden.
still a very big deal.
Very big. White House. No, it's
Obamacare.
healthcare.gov. Stand up, healthcare.gov. So, Fulton County, that's been under a cyber attack, hired the company that created healthcare.gov to be their cybersecurity. So that's encouraging.
Over 100 million of you can no longer be denied health insurance because of pre-existing conditions. But my predecessor
Like my dementia.
and many in this chamber want to take this prescription drug away by repealing Affordable Care Act.
Nobody's talking about that.
Nobody
Smug
cares
look on
about
her
that.
face.
I'm not
Nobody
gonna let
cares.
that happen.
He's not going to let that happen.
Okay,
Stand
great.
up for
Yeah,
that.
history is watching.
Yeah, you know, all the Gen Z kids are just, yeah, finally you're speaking to my heart.
I'm not only protecting it, I'm expanding it. They enacted tax credits of $800 per person per year.
He hasn't talked about mortgages. He hasn't talked about the border.
That tax credit
Or
expires
the
next
age
year.
issue.
Or
I
the
want
age
to make
issue.
that savings permanent.
I can't wait for that one.
I would like to just hear him to start do algebra. Give me any two numbers, I'll multiply them.
Yep.
7 times
State
6,
the obvious.
42.
Women are more than half
But
our
isn't the State
population.
of the Union
The
supposed
research
to
on
be
women's health has always been
About
underfunded. That's
where
why we're
we're
launching
at?
the first ever.
Yeah, he's giving a
government
campaign
women's health
speech.
research,
That's all
led
it's
by
been.
Jill.
Now he's
Doing an
talking about
incredible job
abortion.
as First Lady.
All
Dr.
he's
Jill,
been doing is campaigning this
she has conducted so many abortions by teaching rhymes and children's stories. She reads a children's story to help you have your abortion.
So pass
Can
my
I just
plan
point
for
out-
$12 billion to transfer
Yes.
women's health research and benefit millions of lives all across America.
I don't want to talk over it.
I know
On
the
the
cost of housing is so
whitehouse.gov
important to
site,
you.
Yeah.
If inflation
you
keeps
can drop
coming down, mortgage
emojis,
rates will
but
come
there's
down
only
as
the
well.
choice of 3
And the Fed
excellent ones.
acknowledges it. But I'm not
There's
waiting.
no thumbs down.
Are
I
you
want to
good,
provide
great, or
an annual
amazing?
tax credit that will give Americans $400 a month for the next 2 years as
Yeah.
mortgage rates come down.
This isn't the state of
to
the
put toward their mortgages when they buy their first home.
This is an attempt to
or
make
trade
Biden
up
look
for a little
alive.
more space. Just for 2 years.
Stand up. Stand up. So I would love to be there because
And
as
what
long
I-
as you...
what- you know, if you're reelected, I'll continue to
And
keep
my
doing the same
administration
stuff I've been doing, which
is
is
also
absolutely
eliminating
nothing
title
but
insurance on
promising
federally
you I'll be
backed
doing
mortgages.
stuff.
When you refinance your home, you can save $1,000 or more as a consequence.
He's never refinanced.
$1,000.
Millions of renters
You could save $1,000 refinancing
And you can
your
spend it on
home.
orange
We use
juice and
antitrust
toilet
law. We're
paper.
using antitrust, break antitrust law
$1,000.
by price fixing and driving up rents. We've
Yeah,
cut
but you
red
probably pay
tape
that in fees.
so builders can get federally financing, which is already helping build a record 1.7 million new housing units nationwide.
Yeah, they're gonna all be for
Now
rent,
pass.
owned by
In the
banks
smart
and
cities.
for rent.
Now pass and build and renovate 2 million affordable homes.
Affordable.
And bring those rents down.
Down. See, this is bullshit. I am like actively looking for houses to buy or
Yeah.
to rent.
Oh, I know.
And it's astronomical. It's crazy
Oh, it's absolutely bullshit.
how high the prices are.
To remain
Same
the
here.
strongest economy in the world, we need to have the best education system in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Indoctrinate.
Yeah, let's get some more
And I,
gay
like
porn.
us, respect all
The
of
gay
you,
porn in the
Libraries.
schools.
want to give every child, a good start.
Gay porn in the
by
elementary
providing
libraries.
access to preschool for 3 and 4 years old. You know,
Stand up,
I
Kamala.
think I pointed out last year,
Well, I'd fight for access for 1 and 2-year-olds to go to preschool.
You see that guy hold up a cane? That's how old this crowd
I
is.
pointed out
He's
last
shaking his
year
cane. Somebody in the
that
crowd.
children coming from broken homes where there's no books, they're not read to, not spoken to very often, start school,
Beaten.
kindergarten, or first grade.
Yeah,
Hearing,
because
having heard
this
a
is the
million fewer words spoken.
1930s. We live in the
Studies show
1930s.
that children
The
who go
fuck
to
is he
preschool are
talking
nearly 50% more likely to finish high school, go on to earn a 2- and 4-year degree, no matter what their background is.
Right. And they will get no job because 2-year and 4-year degrees are worthless.
And they got to pay a huge uni fee, don't they?
Ask someone with a 4-year degree. I'm saying that.
I met a year and a half ago with the leaders of the Business Roundtable.
Oh, good.
They were
I'm sure
mad
they
that they
listened.
were angry. I think, well, they were discussing why I wanted to spend money on education.
Why you keep walking into the wall.
Pointed out to them as vice president, I met with over 182 of those folks. Don't hold me to the exact
Those
number.
folks. What are those folks?
I'm not going to hold you to
And
the exact number.
I asked them what they need most.
It's wearing
the
off.
CEOs. And you've had the same experience on both sides of the aisle. They say a better educated workforce, right? So I looked at them and I say, I come from Delaware. DuPont used to be the 8th largest corporation in the world.
I see what you're saying, Stella. On the
And every new enterprise
You know, I
they
never thought
bought,
about it
they
until now.
educated
He
the
looks
workforce to
like
that enterprise.
the small
But
one
none of you do
of the
that
killer
anymore.
clowns from outer space.
Why are you angry with
The
me?
tiny killer clown.
Providing you the opportunity for the best educated
taken
You know
over
what I'm
America.
talking about?
I haven't seen it. I don't
looked at me
remember
and
it
said,
anyway.
I think you're right.
Pull up a picture. I'll share it.
I want to expand high-quality tutoring and summer learning to see that every child learns to read.
Every
by third
child
grade.
gets to be schooled under Dr. Jill. She will go to everybody's home.
There's got to be 31, 32 stand-ups there.
We are at
I'm also connecting
36
local businesses and high
stand-ups.
schools, so students get hands-on experience and a
Literally.
path to good paying
Hunter's
job,
gonna be handling
whether
that.
or not they go to college.
Look
I
at his
wanna make
hands.
sure
Look at
the
his
college
fist.
is more affordable.
How come this old criminal is up here again?
Let's continue increasing the Pell Grants
This is
to working and
this is
middle-class
what we
families
do.
and
We
increase
have to have a
record
State of the
investment.
Union every
At
year.
HBCU,
What the hell?
HBCUs, invest in the black Illuminati.
Institution.
Not to have anything against
Who's
HBCUs.
that
I've just been
from?
reading a lot about that lately.
See, Nancy's looking a bit haggard, isn't she?
When I was told I couldn't
she's got some
universally just
titties on her,
change
though,
the way in
Stella.
which we dealt with student loans, I fixed 2 student loan programs that already
I
existed
sent it to you, Brad.
to reduce the burden of student debt for nearly 4 million Americans, including nurses, firefighters, and
Probably
others in
illegal.
public service.
None of the people he supposedly helped are there standing up. It's
Like
just
Keenan Jones, a public educator from Minnesota.
Are you going to
So
talk
share
about
with us
the
tonight. Keenan, where are
immigrants,
you?
mate? Stuff
Keenan, thank
like
you.
that.
He's
You ain't
educated
black,
hundreds of
Keenan.
students so they can go to college. Now
Oh, my
he's
God.
able to help after debt forgiveness get his own daughter to college.
He means business.
I want him to go off script and lose it.
And folks, look,
I feel like
Yeah.
he's teetering.
We're all waiting for it.
such relief is good for the economy because folks are now able to buy a home, start a business, start a family.
That's not true.
While we're at it,
Does
I
he
want
say
to
that
give public school
sucks
teachers
for
a
me?
raise.
What did he say there?
A raise.
Everybody gets a raise.
A raise.
There's what's her Pocahontas? Dr. Jill saving lives, one spelling bee. And
Sage Green.
Story
By
at
the
a
way, the
time.
first couple of years we cut the deficit. Now let me
Exactly,
speak to the question of
CBG. Who's
fundamental
able to buy a
fairness for
home?
all Americans. I've been delivering real results in fiscally responsible ways. We've already cut the federal deficit. We've already cut the federal deficit over $1 trillion.
People laughed at him.
I signed the bipartisan deal.
What does that even mean? So they're going to
What-
stand up.
Another trillion
Nobody
dollars
actually
in that
has an actual tangible
My
idea
goal to
of
cut the federal
what a
deficit
$1 trillion
under $3 trillion by
cut
making
means.
big corporations the very
Yeah,
wealthy
leaving what,
finally
79
beginning to
trillion
pay
or
their
something?
fair share.
Right. Yeah. This is such bullshit. Fuck all these people. Go full up in
They're just
themselves.
playing their part. They're going to get their little
Except
bonus at the end of
AOC.
it.
AOC can come over to
I'm
dinner
a
whenever she
capitalist.
wants.
You want to make or can make $1 million or millions of bucks, that's great. Just pay your fair share in taxes.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
yeah.
you know.
Because, that's how
That'll do it.
then I
He
can buy a
does.
home with all the money I'm paying in taxes. I can buy a new
This
home.
country's great.
Well, but what about these tax
Education
fees for my
is
home?
So much
You know,
more.
it takes
Here's
30
the deal.
cents for every
Last
dollar I
administration
earn
enacted
away
a
from
$2
me.
trillion
It's fucked
tax
up.
cut.
He's a piece of shit.
Overwhelmingly benefit the
is.
topping 1%.
The topping
very wealthy,
1%.
The biggest corporation.
The topping
And
1%.
exploded the federal deficit.
The federal.
They added more to the national debt than any presidential term in American
They added
history.
more to international death. That's what he just said.
Unlike him and all these
Folks at
characters.
home, does anybody really think the tax code is fair?
Watching him right now.
The Hunger Games is
Do
the
you
Hunger
really
Games.
think the wealthy and big corporations need another $2 trillion tax break? I sure don't. I'm going to keep fighting like
Right,
hell
you get
to make it
10% for the
fair.
big
Under
guy.
my
It's-
plan,
He did.
nobody
Nah, Joe.
earning less than $400,000 a year will pay additional penny in federal taxes.
Joe
Nobody,
Biden
not one
is
penny.
somebody who's just always been a piece of shit who's
haven't
old
yet.
now.
Yeah.
That's what he is.
Too much.
He's not a nice old man.
Why did they cut
Child
to
tax
that
credit I
person
passed
with
during the
Down
pandemic
syndrome?
cut taxes
Because-
for millions of working families and cut child
I don't
poverty
know.
in
It's a good
half.
question. Stand up.
Oh, is that a deep
Child
fake?
tax credit.
If I were there, I would be standing up at weird times just because I know other people would, just to throw off the ribbon.
The way to make the tax code fair
Yeah.
is to make
Start
big
the clapping at
corporations
the
very
wrong
wealthy
time.
begin
Right.
to pay their fair share.
It's always fun.
Remember in 2020, 55 of the biggest companies in America
I remember
made
2020.
$40 billion
Remember
and paid
2020?
zero in federal income
That's
tax.
not what I
Zero.
remember about 2020.
Not anymore. Thanks to the law I wrote and we signed, big companies have to pay a
Big
minimum of
companies.
50%.
Yeah.
But that's still less than working people pay in federal taxes.
This is a
He's
man
trying to
who
raise
showered
corporate
with his
minimum tax to at
14-year-old
least
daughter,
21%.
and she wrote in her diary
These Democrats,
that it fucked her up
progressives
sexually.
And
Nobody
liberals are
talks
just, they're obsessed
So
with
every
taxes,
big
taxes,
corporation
taxes. They
finally-
love it.
They
love
say
it.
shit that that's not tangibly,
Also want to add
relatable.
tax breaks for big pharma, big oil, private jets, massive
That's
executive
because
pay.
the
When it's
state
supposed to be
is
$1
their
million,
god.
$1 million that could be
The
deducted.
state
Oh,
is
I
their
know.
god.
They can pay
State
them
is their
$20 million
god,
if they want,
yeah.
but deduct $1 million.
deduct $1 million.
End it now. You know, there are 1,000 billionaires in America. You know what the average federal tax is for
And
those
I'm 50 of
billionaires?
them.
No. They're making great sacrifices, 8.2%.
What about Hunter Biden's
Kamala
average
smiles.
tax?
That's far
What
less
is
than
his
the vast
tax?
majority of Americans pay. No billionaire should
Look at
pay a lower
Marco
federal tax
Rubio
rate than
just
a
wishing
teacher,
he's at a
a
gay
sanitation
club in
worker, or a
Miami.
nurse.
Stand up. Stand up for that. I wonder how many of these people, these things, is anybody here actually
propose
compelled to really
Minimum
applaud these
tax
things?
for billionaires at 25%, just 25%. You know what that would raise? That would raise $500 billion over the next
Do
10
you have
years.
to go to this?
And imagine what that
Like,
could do
is
for
it
America.
mandatory as
Imagine
being
a
an
future
elected official?
with affordable child
No,
care.
it's not
Millions of
mandatory,
families
but
can get
it's
what
a
they need
it's
to
a
go to work,
publicity
help grow the
stunt for
economy.
everybody.
Imagine a
Everybody's
future
fighting for the
paid
attention.
leave, because no one should have to choose between
To make him look
working
popular.
and taking care of their sick family member.
Yeah, nobody knows what he just
Imagine-
said there, but they're all clapping
Imagine the
for it.
future of home care and elder care and people living with disabilities.
Oh, he's
so they
so
can stay in their
uninspiring to
homes
listen
and
to,
family
isn't he?
caregivers can finally
Such an
get the
idiot.
He's
pay they
angering
deserve.
because he's just lying.
Tonight, let's
just
all
still
agree
pretense,
once
though. It's
again.
not
You
real
could
anger.
also
Stand up for
infuse the
seniors.
economy with money by lowering
my
taxes. That would
On
be
the
a
other
great
side of
thing
the aisle,
to
I wanna
do.
put Social
And stop
Security on
giving
the
it away
chopping
to
block.
You know,
warring
trickle
countries.
down
Exactly.
If anyone
economics.
here
they
tries to
didn't
cut
do
Social Security,
anything for
Medicare, or
Biden's
raise the
dad.
retirement age,
Back in the
I will.
way back in the 1980s when Biden's dad.
Well,
Yeah,
history
Biden said
wasn't
he'd stop
watching
you.
back then.
Yeah, they didn't have the technology to watch
The
back then.
working people
Way back in the
The working people who
1980s
built
when
this
Reagan
country
and Biden's
pay
dad
more
were.
into Social Security than millionaires and
back and
billionaires
forth.
do. It's not fair. We have two ways to go. Republicans can cut Social Security and give more tax breaks to the wealthy.
Biden.
I will. That's the proposal.
Awesome.
Oh no, you guys don't want another
Biden is a
$2 trillion tax
multimillionaire
cut?
who commits money
kinda
laundering
thought that's what your
through
plan was.
Ukraine to his son.
Well, that's good to hear. You're not going to cut another $2 trillion for the
Is
Super Bowl.
that a
That's good to
comment
hear.
or are you just pontificating?
I'll protect and
That's
strengthen
me
Social
saying
Security
that.
and make the wealthy pay their fair share.
This is a guy pretending to be poor. I'm president and I'm poor. And I'm just like you. I go to the grocery store and I can't believe
Too
this
many
shit.
corporations
But that's this whole
Shrink.
entire room. Like everybody
Charging
in
more
this
and more for
room
less and less.
The Hunger
That's why
Games
it's cracking
elite.
down on
Yeah.
corporations
Nobody's been in a
engaged
Publix
price
or a
gouging and
Kroger
deceptive pricing,
or a gas
from
station
food to healthcare to
in
housing.
years in this room.
In fact, the snack companies think you won't notice.
You know, I love
Listen to this,
the-
yeah.
the public
Size
Oh,
of the
right.
God,
bag,
is he going
put
to
a
talk
whole
about
lot fewer-
shrinkflation?
Shrinkflation,
Same,
yeah.
same size bag. Put fewer chips in it.
Oh, this
No,
is
I'm
a
not
bit.
joking.
This is a bit.
It's called
Yeah.
shrinkflation.
He does it all the time.
Pass Bobby Casey's bill and stop this.
So stop shrinkflation. He wants more M&Ms back in his bag, but he's not going to talk about grocery prices or the real housing market. His economy is the reason for fucking shrinkflation. He's like, the dildos are smaller. Why are the dildos smaller?
Snickers
They
bar.
fall out of my ass.
You get charged the same amount, and you got about
Who's that really
10%
shy
fewer
bald
Snickers in
guy
it.
that kept getting-
Listen to him
He's
being
shuffling,
funny.
isn't he?
Look, I'm also getting rid of junk fees. Those
Oh,
hidden
great.
fees
Finally.
at the end of your bill.
He's
they're
doing
very
the whole
low.
mini
Finally.
Snickers bar bit.
My administration announced we're cutting credit card late fees from $32 to $8.
Oh, thank goodness.
Wow.
What does that even fucking
Yeah, but then they've
mean?
got to make it up somewhere else.
yeah, right.
Banks
Exactly.
and credit card companies
32 whole
We're
dollars.
increasing all your bank
allowed
fees.
to charge what it costs them to,
So what
to
is he?
instigate
Does he
the
sleep
collection.
the rest of the time,
And
and
that's
they
more a hell of a lot
they
like
bring him
$8
out
and
for
30
this
some dollars.
stuff?
I think that
don't
on
like
these nights,
Credit card
they
companies
hate
don't
these
like
nights because they can't get them to
I'm
go to
saving
bed after all the
American families
amphetamines. And they're like,
$20
"God, just go to
billion a
sleep."
year with all the junk fees I'm eliminating.
He goes around trying to smell everybody the entire night. They can't stop him.
Folks at
Yeah, he's
home,
doing his little trot around everywhere. He's
that's where the
trotting
banks
all
are so
over the
mad.
place,
It's $20
sniffing
billion
everybody.
in profit.
Sneaks away to jerk off over and over again.
I'm not stopping there. My
he's
administration
not
proposed rules to
stopping
make
there.
cable, travel, utilities, and online ticket sellers tell
They've
you
made
the
him a
total
little bit
price
orange.
up front, so there are no surprises.
Wow. Thank
It
goodness.
matters.
Now I can buy all my Pearl Jam
It
tickets and know
The
how much
most
they're going to cost.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
the most
This.
transparent president in American history.
In November,
He just
my
got
team
rid
began
of
serious negotiations with a bipartisan
he
group
just
of
got rid of
senators.
Napster, guys.
The result
No
was a
more
bipartisan
Napster or
bill
LimeWire.
with the toughest set of border security reforms we've ever seen.
Look, who is that weirdo?
Oh, you don't think so?
Yeah, who's that in?
That guy looks like he wants to
Oh,
kill.
you don't like that bill, huh?
Yeah,
The conservatives got together and said it was a good bill.
looks like it.
I'll be darned. That's amazing. That bipartisan bill would hire 1,500 more security agents and officers, 100 more immigration judges to help tackle the backload of 2 million cases, 4,000
2 million
more
cases.
asylum officers, and new policies so they can resolve cases in 6 months instead of 6 years now.
Millions will help tackle the backload of 2 men in
What do you
cases,
get?
is what
Yeah,
he said.
who's Bullseye over there that they keep
It
cutting?
does look like Bullseye from Daredevil. I agree,
100
Mr.
more
President.
high-tech drug detection machines to significantly increase the ability to screen and stop vehicles smuggling fentanyl into America. That's killing thousands of children.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he goes back
This bill would save
his
lives.
office.
I'm in order to the border. It will also give me and
Here
any
we go.
new
Bringing
president
up the children.
new emergency authority to temporarily shut down the border when the number of migrants at the border
Bring
is
out a
overwhelming.
baby and vax it.
The Border Patrol unions endorsed this bill. The Federal Chamber of Commerce is, yeah. You're saying low. Look at the facts.
Look at the fact. I'm serious. I'm
I
serious.
know.
No joke.
I'm not kidding.
I know you know how to read.
Stand up, Kamala. Very matter of fact, stand up, Kamala.
I believe that given the opportunity for a majority in the House and Senate would endorse the bill as well, a majority right now. But unfortunately, politics has derailed this bill so far.
We're at 50 stand ups at
I'm
least.
told my predecessor
Well,
called
let's
members
go.
of Congress and the Senate to demand they block the bill.
around this so far.
He feels political win. He viewed it as a political win for me and a political loser for him. It's not about him. It's not about me.
It's about us.
I'd be a winner. Not really.
Yes!
Oh, yes.
Not winding.
Here we go.
Not winding.
He's losing it.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal.
Is that an egg?
That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand.
Here we go.
But look, if we change the dynamic at the border, people pay these smugglers $8,000 to get across the border because they know if they get by and let into the country, it's 6 to 8 years before they have a hearing. And it's worth it taking the chance of the $8,000.
Everybody's confused.
But if it's only 6 months, 6 weeks,
This is great.
The idea is it's highly unlikely that people will pay that money and gum all that way, knowing that they'll be able to be kicked out quickly.
Oh, that's a good policy. Yeah, stand up. That's a good response.
I would respectfully suggest my Republican friends owe it to the American people. Get this bill done. We need to
stand up.
Now.
That's very eloquent. Stand up.
Go get him, Tiger.
There you go. Very beautifully spoken. Nobody knows a goddamn thing that you just said.
That's going to go down in history. That's watching.
And if I throw this egg on the ground, it cracks in 9 weeks.
Just stand
Instead
up.
of paying politics and pressuring members of Congress to block the bill, join me in telling the Congress to pass it. We can do it together. But that's what he apparently hears what he will not do.
That's what he says to Jill.
I will not demonize immigrants saying they are poison in the blood of our country.
Yo, stand up. He's not.
Yeah.
I am not Hitler.
He was talking about Democrats.
I am not Hitler.
Yeah, we've got the Republican immigrants.
Because of their faith. Unlike my predecessor on my first day in office, I introduced a comprehensive bill to fix our immigration system. Take a look at it. It has all these and more. Secure the border.
There's that psycho.
Provide a pathway to citizenship for dreamers.
Who's that guy?
And so much
Homeland
more.
Security.
Yeah, he's awful.
But
He was
unlike
impeached.
I thought that was
I know who we are as Americans.
Charles Xavier.
We're the only nation in the world with a heart and soul that draws from old and new.
I'm impressed
Home
by
to Native
Conley.
Americans and ancestors have been here for thousands of years. Home to people of every place, from every place on earth. They came freely. Some came in chains. Some came when famine struck, like my ancestral family in Ireland.
Something came on his face.
His ancestral family.
That are impossible anywhere but here in America.
He's an
That's
asshole.
America. And we all come from somewhere. So we're all American.
We all come from somewhere. Boom. Boom. Talk about Ashley Biden's diary. Please talk about that.
We have a simple choice. We can fight
Such a piece
about
of
fixing
shit.
the border, or we can fix it.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. It's that simple. It's
Why
that
didn't you fix
simple.
it like a year
Send
ago?
me the border bill now.
How
It's just so
did he
simple.
outlive Richard Lewis?
Close all those gaps that they've got, maybe.
He looks like Richard Lewis right now.
Are they chanting "Send it"?
Transformational moment in history.
I don't know.
It happened 59 years ago today in Selma, Alabama.
Oh, shit.
Hundreds of foot soldiers
He
for
was
justice
there.
marched across
In
the Edmund
blackface,
Pettus
he was
Bridge,
there.
named after the Grand Dragon of the Ku Klux Klan, to claim their
He's like
fundamental right
a
to
buddy
vote.
of mine.
They were beaten.
A Democrat.
They were
Bird.
bloody
Bird,
Yep.
a
and
good
left for
friend.
dead.
Democrat.
Our late friend and former colleague
John
John Lewis
Lewis.
was on that march.
Stand up
We
for
miss
John
him.
Lewis.
And at
He's
the
getting
same
by.
Mike Johnson is
time, my
reluctantly
mentor was the
standing
great
up.
dragon of the Ku
This
Klux
is the
Klan.
first stand up for Mike Johnson. It's 37 to 1.
Our other marchers,
History's watching.
both in the gallery and on the floor,
Yes, history's watching.
including
That's
Betty
gonna be
Mae
a-
Fikes.
I'm never gonna get sick
known
of
as
that
the voice
phrase.
of Selma.
History's confused.
The daughter of gospel singers and preachers, she sang songs of prayer and protest on that bloody Sunday to help shake the nation's
Say
conscience.
something racist.
5 months later, the Voting Rights Act passed and was signed into law.
Yep, another one. Did Johnson stand up this time?
Thank you.
There's the
Color
Starbucks
going
barista.
on there.
Thank you,
That's
thank
great, but what does this have to do with the State of the Union?
Look, when your groceries cost $200 for butter, just know that
colours.
John Lewis marched on Selma.
Just know that all the
But
elites from the
59
Hunger
years
Games are
later,
there.
where forces taking us back in time.
Games.
Voter suppression, election
Oh,
subversion,
shit.
unlimited
Shit.
dark money, extreme gerrymandering.
Dark money. Ooh.
You know all about
He's a
that,
great
wouldn't you?
friend to many of us
Dark
here.
Dark Biden.
But if you
Dark
truly
Biden.
want to honor him and all the heroes that marched with
Now,
him,
did you look at the
then
clown
it's time to
picture,
do more
Brad?
than talk. Pass
Yes, I did.
The
I'm gonna
Freedom to
share it in a
Vote
minute.
Act. The John Lewis Voting Right Act.
Stand up. So he's trying to get as many bipartisan standing O's right here, but he noticed the John Lewis references were working. Of course, they cut to a random black person in the
And
audience.
stop.
Mike
Oh, wait.
Johnson
Must
hasn't
deny
stood up
another
once.
core
No,
value
he has.
of
He stood up
America.
twice.
Oh, did he?
Our
Yeah.
diversity across American life. Banning books, it's wrong. Instead of erasing history, let's make history. I want to protect fundamental rights.
What about on my
Passing
YouTube
quality
Instead of
videos?
erasing history, let's make history.
Am I
Take
missing
that-
something?
What about on my
Use
YouTube
the-
videos questioning the election that
have
the
your
Google
back.
works for the government to censor? What about those?
Pass the PRO Act. The workers' rights.
Oh yes, do the outward. So Kamala's doing the outward aggressive clap to that.
Raise the federal minimum wage.
If she's gonna
Because
start
every worker has a
roofing
right
like
to a
she's
decent
on
living more than
Arsenio Hall
$7 an hour.
He should do some Arsenio Hall shit.
He just said more than $7 an hour.
We're also making history by confronting the climate crisis, not denying it.
Of course.
I don't think any of you think there's no longer a climate crisis.
Of course, it's very,
At
very.
least I hope
Oh,
you
come
do.
on.
It's dolphin swing on my
we
neighborhood
go.
street.
I'm
Climate.
taking the most significant action ever on climate in the history of the world.
Yeah, he fucked it.
I'm
stand
cutting
up.
our carbon emissions in half by
King of the
2030.
bullshit.
Creating tens of thousands of clean energy jobs,
What
like
is
the
that?
IBW workers building and installing
Yeah.
500,000 electric vehicle charging stations.
Which
And
in
you've got investments
Georgia,
in bloody wind
Conservative.
they
farms and
just
stuff.
shut down the
30%
development of the
of
electric
Americans' land
vehicle
and water by
$55
2030.
million factory because
Yeah.
Taking
they're
action
terrible.
on
Yeah,
environmental
it's
justice,
not gonna
fence
work.
line communities smothered.
And not to
A
mention
number
it's
of
going
the
to
car
put auto work.
manufacturers.
Yeah, go ahead,
Sorry,
Excella.
man.
I'm sorry. No.
I was just
Pattern
going to say
after the
I
Peace
think there's
Corps
a
in
number of
America
car
Corps
manufacturers that are
I
stepping away.
launched the
they're
climate
shutting
Corps
down. Yeah, right.
to put 20,000
Yeah,
young
it's
people to
not
work.
going to be nearly as
in the
many
forefront of
parts
clean energy
necessary for an
future.
electric car. It's going to
Absolutely.
put these guys out of business.
And they put out more emissions. Oh yeah. Let's look. You can focus on AOC all you want, Cameron.
Yeah.
I would just laugh at AOC's bullshit and
state
say,
the
"Get in the
obvious.
kitchen."
All Americans deserve the freedom
Those
to be
shoes off
safe.
and get in the kitchen.
And America is safer today than when I took office.
Make some more yucca.
Year before I took office, murder rates went up 30%. 30% they went up.
What'd he say?
The biggest increase in history. It was then.
Here we go.
What's he saying?
He's
being
through
escorted
my
out.
American Rescue Plan,
What'd he
which
say?
every American
I think
voted
it was
against, I
something
might
about the
add.
Marines.
We made the largest investment
yeah.
in public safety
And
ever.
they kicked him out.
Last year, the murder rate saw
Who?
the sharpest decrease
The
in
guy who was
history.
just screaming. They kicked him
Violent
out.
crime fell to one of its lowest levels in more than 50 years. But we have more to do. We have to help cities invest in more
And
community
it feels
police
super
officers,
safe in Atlanta right
more
now.
mental health
Definitely.
workers, more community violence intervention.
Yeah, it feels really safe.
More community violence, what?
Retail crime.
Yeah,
Organised.
more community violence will protect everybody. Stand up for that. Yeah, no, it was super safe in Atlanta when the highway was shut down today because a Cop City protester chained themselves to a construction work site.
Directing my cabinet to review the federal classification
Glad I
of
don't live
marijuana
in
and
the city
expunging
anymore.
thousands of convictions for the mere possession.
Think you're
because
right,
no one
JB.
should be jailed for simply using or having on their
Get
record.
up. Kamala stood up before he even finished that sentence that time.
Yeah.
Take on
She's-
crime
she's
and
ready to go
domestic
home.
violence.
They just know which
I'm ramping up
person
the
to point the
federal
camera at
enforcement
at the
of
right
Violence Against Women
time
Act that I
before he
proudly
says anything.
wrote when I was a senator. So we can finally end the
Kinda
scourge
looks like
against women in
Dwayne "The
America.
Rock Johnson.
He looks like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, Kamala Harris does.
Oh, she looks like Dwayne The Rock. Kamala,
Crimes of violence
Kamala
are
The Rock Johnson.
The stone.
With us tonight is Jasmine, whose 9-year-old sister Jackie was
Jasmine.
murdered, with 21 classmates and
That's the
teachers in
Starbucks
elementary school
barista.
in
How many
Uvalde,
violin
Texas.
stories are we going to hear today?
Very soon after that happened, Jill and I went to Uvalde for a couple of days. We spent hours and hours with
Smelling
each
We
kids.
other.
We
adopted
spent
the
hours and hours
We heard their
smelling
message.
children.
We adopted
So
her.
everyone in this room, in this chamber,
This is our
heard
new
the same
daughter.
message.
Or they.
The constant
Have
refrain,
empathy
and
if I thought
was
it was
there for
real.
hours, meeting with every family. They said, do something.
Douche
something.
something. Douche something.
Well, I did do something by establishing the first ever Office of Gun
douched
Violence
something.
Prevention in
I
the White
sniffed a
House
child.
that the Vice President is leading the charge. Thank you for doing this.
Dr. Jill is douching something all over this country.
Meanwhile,
Oh, she's the new Hawk or whatever.
Look at he is. So he's trying to salute, but he looks like he is blocking the light from his eyes.
I think he
my
is.
predecessor told the NRA he's proud he did nothing on guns when he was president. Oh. After another shooting in Iowa recently, he said, when asked what to do about it, he said, just get over it. There's his quote.
Just
get over it.
This guy
I
just
say,
makes
stop
up
it.
whatever he wants.
Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Right, that's such a brilliant policy move. Stop it, stop it, stop it.
Yeah, it's the
get
just
over it.
get over it bill versus the stop it, stop it,
Right.
stop it bill.
Brilliant
NRA
policy.
Let me
signed
give
most
me a
significant gun
second,
safety
because
law
you know
in
you
nearly 30
people,
years
you
because of this
normal
Congress.
people,
We now must beat the NRA
We,
again.
we, the government, need
I'm
to
demanding
protect
a
you
ban
from
on assault
yourselves.
weapons and high
Yes,
capacity
apparently.
magazines.
We're too dumb.
So now we're on to guns now. You're right. So they do have the time pause, and people, because he's not good at this, look how bored they are. They're all texting.
I fought the Second Amendment for 12 years. None of this violates
Hey,
the
honey,
Second
did I leave the
Amendment
iron on?
or vilifies
I'm going to be here having
responsible
gay
gun owners.
sex in Congress for a few hours afterwards, honey.
You know, as we manage challenges
so
at home,
that's
we're
so
also managing
genuinely. I
crises
thought
abroad,
you were
including in the
actually
Middle East.
I'm not. I'm very good at acting.
I know the last 5 months have been gut-wrenching for so many people.
Totally.
With
What?
Israeli people,
Oh,
with
right.
Palestinian
Yes,
people,
it's been gut-wrenching.
Oh, that
and
bit.
so many
Yeah.
here in America.
It's
Ceasefire
all over.
This
now.
crisis
There's
began on
video.
October 7th with a massacre by a terrorist group called Hamas, as you all know.
His hairline's been
Kamala
back
started
since he first
protesting.
started.
Care.
What?
People,
I have not
women,
noticed his
girls,
hairline
men
moving
and
back.
boys slaughtered after enduring sexual violence. The deadliest day for the Jewish people since the Holocaust.
These are
And
unproven. So
250
bad things are happening,
Here we go.
yes, but they say things that are
Here in
unproven.
this chamber tonight, our families
Which
whose
makes you
loved ones are
distrust
still
them.
being held by Hamas. I pledge to all
Fuck
the families
Hamas.
that
We
will
got
not
Bibi
rest until
Netanyahu.
we bring
Fuck all.
The
everyone and their loved
emotional
ones home.
camera move.
We also
Very cinematic camp. So you got to get a Mike Johnson
Yeah.
stand right here. This is the third stand for Mike Johnson because fuck groceries, give the money to Israel or Ukraine.
They must have some expensive camera gear set up there to get that
I'm
dollar
sure they
shot
do.
also
thing.
work around the clock.
Of course.
to
We
bring
give
home
them
Evan
$318
Nepal,
billion a year
Americans being
already.
unjustly detained by the Russians
Oh,
and others around the world.
Brad, things are more
Israel
expensive.
has the right to go
It's
after Hamas.
inflation.
Hamas ended this
Shrinkflation. We
conflict
give
by
them
releasing
smaller
hostages.
bombs.
Smaller weapons.
Laying down
yes.
arms could end it.
Tiny little guns, tiny little bullets.
Releasing
That's
the hostages,
hilarious.
laying down arms and surrendering those responsible
I
for
love
October
that.
7th. But Israel has excuse
Oh,
me,
don't
Israel
die.
has an added burden.
If he died,
Hamas
his
hides
ratings
and
would go up. He'd
operates
win.
civilian
Sky high,
populations
like it. Like,
under
Get
hospitals,
elected.
daycare centers, and all the like. Israel also has a fundamental responsibility, though, to protect innocent civilians in Gaza.
And then he starts talking like this.
No, so he
Mike
plays
Johnson's
the.
not standing for that.
He's very disingenuous about all of his positions on
Has
this.
taken a greater toll on innocent civilians than all previous wars in Gaza combined. More than 30,000
Stop
funding
Palestinians
it.
have been killed,
Right.
most of whom
Stop
are
funding
not
it.
Hamas.
No, Stella.
Okay, we can all
Thousands
go
and
home. That's
thousands
the
of innocents,
solution.
women and children, girls and boys, also orphaned. Nearly
Heads
2
I've never
million
smelled.
More Palestinians under bombardment or displacement.
That's
Homes
two
destroyed,
different
neighbors
things.
in rubble, cities in ruin, families without food, water, medicine. It's heartbreaking. I've been working nonstop to establish an immediate ceasefire that would last for 6 weeks to get all the prisoners released,
Anthony
all the
Blinken.
hostages released. To get the
God,
Very
hostages home
serious.
and ease the intolerable.
He's the one who's, and they set him in front of a
crisis
black woman.
and build toward an enduring, something more enduring. The United States has been leading international efforts to get more humanitarian
Are those
assistance to
fans?
Gaza. Tonight,
It said
I'm
lasting
directing the U.S.
ceasefire now.
military to lead an
Protest.
emergency mission to establish a temporary pier in the Mediterranean on the coast of Gaza that can receive large shipments carrying food, water, medicine, and temporary shelters. No U.S. boots will be on the ground. A temporary
Yeah, you might be
pier
right,
will
Troy.
enable a massive increase in the amount of humanitarian assistance getting into Gaza every day.
None of this is real, you know. This is just all bullshit.
No.
And Israel must do its part. Israel must allow more aid into Gaza to ensure humanitarian workers aren't caught in the crossfire.
And they must allow us to continue
They're
testing our
announcing
vaccines on their population. They
We're
force
gonna
the vaccines
crossing
to
in northern Gaza. To the leadership of Israel, I say this.
Tisrael.
Humanitarian assistance cannot be a secondary consideration or a bargaining chip.
I demand
Protecting and saving
humanitarian.
innocent lives has to be a priority. As we look to the future, the only real solution to the situation is a two-state solution over
This
time.
dick.
End the war.
I was hoping he'd say this
wants-
dick.
The Palestinians don't want a two-state solution.
And I
Why do
say
they keep
this,
pushing for this?
Nothing
the
they say.
lifelong
It's just all
supporter of Israel.
Yeah, Rothschild's dead now,
My
so
entire career,
media,
rip up the
media
Balfour.
monitoring
has a stronger
talking
record with
points that
Israel than I
they've
do. I
gathered
challenge
and they're
any of
trying
you.
to hit.
I'm the only American president to visit Israel in wartime.
To do what
There
to
is
Israel?
no other path that guarantees Israel's security.
Oh, wait, he's the only
There's no other path
president.
that guarantees Palestinians can live in peace
You
with
can't
with
say Israel.
peace and dignity. And there's no other path that guarantees peace between Israel and all of
go.
its neighbors, including Saudi Arabia, with
Kamala's
whom
doing
I'm
great with
talking.
a stoned face.
Creating stability in the Middle East also means containing the threat posed by Iran. That's
guy's
why
doing
I
great
built
staying
a
awake.
coalition of more than a dozen
You
countries
should play
to
like
defend international
theme music
shipping
underneath
and
this. to
freedom
make
of
it more,
navigation in the Red Sea.
you know.
I've ordered
Girl from
strikes
Epidema.
to degrade
Yeah,
the Houthi capability
exactly.
and defend U.S. forces in the region. As Commander-in-Chief, I will not hesitate
Black man.
to direct further
That's
measures
the
to
guy
protect
who
our people and our
Lloyd
military.
Show one every so often.
Some people think he's actually dead, and that's a body double. So Lloyd Austin's the one who went to the hospital and didn't tell
Yeah.
anybody.
I've heard many of my Republican
Couch
and
chamber.
Democratic friends say that China is on the rise
I wish Kamala would just unbutton that dress
and
shirt a
America's
little
falling
bit.
behind. They've got it
Stripping.
backwards. I've been saying it for over 4 years, even when I wasn't president. America's rising. We have the
You
best
haven't been
economy in the
president for 4
world.
years.
And since I've come to office, our GDP is up, our trade deficit with China is down to the
RGTB.
lowest point in over a decade. And we're standing up against
So-
China's unfair
could it be?
economic practices. We're standing up
That's
for
how you
peace
know
and
he's not
stability
talking to
across
the
Taiwan
American people.
Strait.
He says
I've
RGTB.
revitalized our partnership and alliance
Most people
in the
don't know what
Pacific.
that is.
Yeah.
How many of them are
India,
men and how many are women?
Australia, Japan, South Korea, Pacific Islands. I've made sure that the most advanced American technologies can't be used in China, not allowing the trade.
I think he was
there.
trying to say our
Frankly,
GDP.
For all this tough talk on China,
You know, I think you're
my
right.
predecessor to do
Yeah,
anything.
right.
Nobody is. Yeah, that is what he was
I
saying.
want competition with
Yeah,
China.
he
not
said
conflict.
RGTB,
And
correct.
everybody clapped for it.
Yeah.
Position to win the
Yeah.
conflict of the
And
21st century
yeah.
against China.
No, you're
than
exactly
anyone
right.
else, for
I was trying to
that
figure that
matter,
out.
than Any time as well. Here at home,
Yeah, what was he trying to
I've
say?
signed over 400
Our
bipartisan bills
GDP.
Yeah, but it sounded like
More
RGTP.
past
B.
my unity agenda.
Yeah, you got that
Strengthen
one.
penalties
You.
on fentanyl
Good translation.
trafficking. You don't want to do that.
No,
huh?
I've been working on it for a while with
Pass
Biden.
bipartisan privacy
should have,
legislation
though,
to
like,
protect our children
I love these
online. Harness.
From people like
Harness
you.
the promise of AI to protect
Stand
us
up.
from
Kamala
peril.
begrudgingly stands up.
Ban AI voice impersonations and more.
And
Keep
more.
our truly
Ban
sacred
AI
obligation.
voice impersonation.
Train and equip.
How can they care about children
those we
when
send
they're
into harm's
How can
way.
they do
fully
this?
aborting
We care for
things?
them and their families when they come home and when they don't.
Yeah. I don't even know what any of them. No, he'd like to keep deep fake porn, but he wants to ban the voices.
That's why the song Support and Help. of
I wish every
Dennis
time Kamala
DA,
stood up, Mike Johnson would
I
go
signed
under the
PACT
desk.
Act. One of the most significant laws ever.
Like a seesaw.
Helping millions of veterans exposed to toxins. who
There's
now are
Budovich
battling more
thinking
than
about
100 different cancers.
Choo-choo trains.
Yeah,
Many of
choo-choo
them don't
trains.
come home. But we owe them and their families support. We owe it to ourselves to keep supporting our new health research agency called ARPA-H. And remind us
ARPA-H?
that
Like
we can
DARPA?
do big things.
Harp?
Like end cancer as we know it. And we will.
He's been saying this for 30 years. They suppressed cancer cures going back to Royal Reich 100 years, over 100 years ago, which they now are doing experiments with the same fucking
Let me
shit he
close
did
with
back
this.
then.
Yeah.
God, he's a psycho, old, senile man.
I know you don't want to hear any more.
There is
Lindsay, but I
somebody
gotta say
tied
a few
up
more
somewhere who is dreading the end of this because Biden is going to go
I
get
know
all
it
his
may not look like it, but I've been
amphetamine
around a
energy
while.
out on. There's old lady
When
Graham.
you get to be my age, certain things become clearer than ever.
Kerr.
I know the American story. Again and again, I've seen the contest between competing forces in the battle for the soul of our nation.
Of course.
Between those who want to pull America back to the past, those who
I
want to
hate
move
that
America
this
into
works.
the future.
So you
My
have to be
I hate
lifetime
that
has
it
taught me to
works,
embrace
man. It's so
freedom and
stupid.
democracy. A future based on core values that have defined America: honesty, decency, dignity, equality. To respect everyone, to give everyone a fair shot, to give hate no safe harbor.
Yes, because we agree on a definition of hate.
Now other people my age see it differently.
Here we go.
American
The age
story
thing.
of resentment, revenge, and retribution. That's not me. I was born in World War
maybe
II
Lindsey Graham is hooking
when
up
America
with Joe
stood
tonight.
for the freedom of the world. I grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and Claymont, Delaware, among working class people who built this country. I watched in horror as two of my heroes, like many of you did, Dr. King and Bobby Cunningham, were assassinated.
Bobby Cunning?
And the legacy that inspired me to
Bobby Cunning.
pursue a career in service. I left the law firm, became a public defender because my city of Wilmington
John
was
F.
the
Kennedy
only
and
city
Bobby
in America
Cunning.
occupied by the National Guard.
Yeah, I
after
love
Dr.
I love how
King
they
was
talk about
assassinated
it's a
because
career of
the riots
service
in-
when all they do is get power.
I became a county councilman.
Joe
almost
Biden's
by
never
accident.
had a private sector
I
job.
got elected to the United States
Ever.
Senate when I had no intention of running at age
I feel like
29.
I should put a key in his back and
Then
wind
vice
him up
president,
again.
our first black president. Now president to the first women vice president.
President of the first women.
Oh,
I'm the president.
Yeah, and Kamala's going to stand up. Yeah.
I'm going to clap myself.
I can't believe racist white nationalist Christian Mike Johnson didn't stand up for that.
In my career,
This
I've been told I was too young.
man.
By the way, they didn't let me on the Senate elevators for votes sometimes. Not a joke.
There it is.
Oh, thanks
I've
for
been told
qualifying.
I'm too old.
Yeah, that means you've been in politics for
Whether
too
young
long.
or old, I've always known what endures. I've known our North Star. The very idea of America is that we're all created equal.
There's our North Star.
Deserves to be
North
treated
Star.
equally throughout our lives. We've never fully lived up to that idea, but we've never walked away from it either.
No, never.
And I
But we're going to get a
won't
double
walk away
stand
from
up.
it
Stand
now.
up, Dr. Jill.
Dr. Jill.
I'm optimistic.
She should have a stethoscope on wherever she
Yeah.
goes.
I really am.
In
I'm
a children's
optimistic,
book with
man.
her.
They have great sex, by the way.
I'd love to see that on Pornhub.
That's what he said the other day.
I know.
Not with
I
each
saw
other.
that. That's the key to marriage.
Americans,
It's, Pelosi, though.
looks like a
we
clown
should face our
too.
nation.
She's in that age where
Isn't how
she's
old
so
we are.
old
Right.
with
How
the
old are
makeup.
our
It
ideas?
makes her look like a clown.
You just have to
Hey,
focus on
Andrew,
Pelosi's
recognition
tits.
of the
You
oldest
can't
of
look at
ideas.
anything else.
But you can't lead America with ancient ideas that only take us back.
He's got young
You lead
ideas.
America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done. Tonight you've heard mine. I see a future where defending
I hope he
democracy,
starts smelling
you
people.
don't
in the
diminish
sentence.
it.
Just
I see a future
uncontrollable.
where we restore the right to choose and protect our freedoms, not take them away.
Kamala, look at her knowing what that's an interesting camera cut there.
I
Stand
see a
up for
future.
that. Rupert Murdoch did just get married, Aram,
Where the
again
middle
at age
class
92. Good for
finally has
him.
a fair shot, and the wealthy have to pay their fair share in taxes.
Oh, it's a really great Bernie Sanders talking point.
I see a future where we save the planet from the climate crisis and our country
climate
from
crisis.
gun violence.
Climate crisis is it's very
Climate
different.
crisis.
Yes,
Must be learning Chinese.
I see a future for
that's
all
actually a
Americans.
violent criminal who
I
is
see a
who is
country
climate
for all
conscious.
Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because
Except
I
MAGA.
believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic
Why are
about
you
our
screwing
future
them
than
over?
I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We're the United States of America.
America.
And there is nothing
This is not a triumphant line
beyond our
that he
capacity
delivers here.
when we act together.
Yeah, Trump would have a legit
God
pocket
bless you
square.
all,
Yeah.
and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
May God protect our troops. You see that cane keep coming into the screen?
Yeah, some old dude in the front.
All right, we got one more Mike Johnson stand up at the end. Now, I wonder how long the walkout's going to take.
Oh, was that a Freemason shake? I just missed
All
it.
right, a very forcefully delivered speech.
A very forcefully
by
delivered speech.
President
Jake Tapper
Biden,
here, a
only
very
few hundred
energetic
words
and
into
brilliant
it when he
speech
made
from the
forcefully
president.
a dozen references to Donald Trump, though not by name. He referred to him as
So he would
the
not
handshake.
say, the president saying, Mr. President, the current president refused to speak your name, yet he demeaned you the entire State of the Union. What is your reaction?
I mean, what do you expect? He used the entire thing as a campaign ground instead of talking about like what he's actually accomplished. Is all he's talking about is what he will accomplish one day, maybe in the future.
So you were in no way inspired by anything that he said with his projections forward?
No, and then on top of that, he just blatantly lied about a lot of things.
Like
just
what?
Blatantly lied.
What would you say he lied about?
Every single quote he made that was by, he quoted me several times.
He did quote you.
Making up things.
I do have a few of the quotes. I don't know if any of these are what you're referring to, but what I wrote down is he said history is watching on multiple occasions.
Multiple occasions.
Yeah, he said the topping 1%. I don't know if he was talking about like ice cream or topping on a cake.
Pizza.
He's talking
maybe
about topping
Pizza
the
topping,
1%.
yes.
Like Biden's going to come in and top all of them.
He said at one point, yes, he's going to be the top to Lindsey Graham's power bottom. He said they added more to international death at one point. I don't know if that's what he intended to say.
Why is Bernie's mask off now?
Because the virus has left the building. Ian.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I think he
the
thought the
virus
cameras
has
were off.
left the building.
The virus goes to bed before 11. Ian, come on, 10:30. You can't catch COVID after 10:30.
Lots of manly-looking women, isn't there?
You talking about that woman in purple with the blush
Yes.
There have been a lot of manly-looking women in this whole thing.
Guys,
I
I
have
gotta
to
go.
say-
I know.
All right, you out, Ian?
Yeah,
we
I'm out.
appreciate
It was super fun. It was
Thanks
great
for
to,
hanging
great
out.
to see you again, Stella.
Yeah,
Mr.
you
President, see ya.
Hey.
Yeah, we enjoyed it, Ian. I'm gonna stick around and maybe listen to some of the spin
Just beam on
commentary.
out of here, Ian.
Ian's
gotta
getting
go.
up. He's got a
Ian's
regular
getting old,
job.
Ladies and gentlemen, he's getting old.
Ian's
No,
taking care of all of us, Josh.
Yeah, I'm taking care. Someone's got to pay the bills, Josh. Someone's got to be a responsible
Mr.
adult
President, excuse me.
and solve problems in the morning. All right. See you guys.
See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at Biden surrounded by these old people, and look at that woman with the gray hair looking very like mischievously. So I would say if I'm an old lady, 65 plus, the State of the Union is when I'm going to get my nails done and my facial because my odds are great at the State of the Union if I'm a 65 plus female.
Well, as an American, did he say anything that was of any value at all?
I mean,
No, he's nothing.
Nothing.
What,
It's just-
like,
Yeah.
as an Australian, did he say anything of value at all?
Yeah, what are your thoughts? Is it as much of
I
a
just-
joke as it seems like to us?
I cannot take this. I've never been able to take any of this seriously. He just looks like such a bad actor. Like he's going to an audition, and you just want to say, okay, well, thank you, Mr. Biden, but we'll call you.
Bring in the next actor. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like no.
No, it is, and I like the way you frame that. Looking at it like that, as though this is a dramatic television show that they're just trying to cause division and keep
hilarious.
interest. Then it makes it funny and interesting. When you take it seriously, like some people do, that's when it can really mess with their lives. But this, it's such a joke. To your question, did he say anything of value? No, he said the same things that he always says. He said expected things, and it was just such a rehearsed up and down that it was just a meaningless exercise to give the media a bunch of different clips that they can use to satisfy the confirmation bias of their audience while averting them from the pain of the cognitive dissonance they would have to go through to discover the truth. I mean, that's all the news is.
It really was quite the time to watch him start to unravel, though. Like, he started unraveling
he did.
that last, 15, 20 minutes of it.
So, it's to that point, I want to show you something, Mr. President, that I would love to get your reaction to. So I'm going to take this down. We'll come back to this in a minute. But this happened earlier this week. And I don't have the whole clip. I don't like only playing short clips because I know he said more. So with that set up, there is more to this clip. I don't know what it is yet. But this is Biden talking about shrinkflation, which he talked about during his State of the Union address. I just would love to get your reaction to this. Let me make sure the volume's up. All right, here we go.
But even as supply chains are back to normal, some companies are still not passing along the savings to their customers. Many corporations are raising their prices, pad the profits, charging folks more and more for less and less. But in fact, some of the small snack companies, you won't you won't even notice what they're doing. And when they charge you just as much for the same size bag of potato chips, only has a hell of a lot fewer chips in it. I'll tell you who did notice, Cookie Monster.
Oh, what?
Now his cookies are getting smaller, paying the same price. I was stunned when I found out that's what actually happened. But some companies have sunscreen.
The air in the bag of chips has been around since chips have been in bags.
Of course, but the Cookie Monster was. Did you get? I mean, the Cookie Monster was the one who was upset about shrinkflation. He notices that Biden was stunned to find out that that's how it works. Is the Cookie Monster is the
wait
one.
a minute. So Biden and the Cookie Monster and like what Grimace from McDonald's.
Grimace works for the White House.
The Burger King. They all got together.
They're all White House staffers. They're
And
government
he looked over
employees.
and he was like, Elmo, thank you for bringing me to this party with the Cookie Monster.
And then the Cookie Monster pulled out his books because he has an elaborate security system where he is watching every cookie in the country.
And then Biden goes, I'm sorry, did you say sniff me, Elmo?
Right, and Elmo says, no, get off of me. And he's like, I'm sorry, I misheard you. Back to your presentation, Cookie Monster. Yes. Is the Cookie Monster the one that lives in the trash can, or is that somebody else?
Cookies,
No, that's Oscar.
Cookies.
That's Oscar.
Do you accept cookies?
Yes.
I know. I no longer accept cookies because I know that somehow I'm being tracked by the Cookie Monster, which
That's
the
right.
president.
Turn up at your door and shoot your dog.
The DHS, the director of DHS is now the Cookie Monster.
This is the Cookie Monster. I'd like to see him wear that outfit. So I actually haven't heard the rest of what he said after this. Let's see how he followed this up.
Cookie Monster for president.
Right. The volume sucks on this video, so I apologize
pretty low,
for that.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And some companies have been even caught breaking the law while overcharging consumers. The American people are tired of being played.
So okay, that's all. Because when I first heard that, I was like, why did the video cut off when he said Cookie Monster? And then I was surprised when I found out that that's how it worked, because I felt like he would say something clarifying, but he didn't. He just went on to a different subject. So the Cookie Monster is how he gauges the economy. Who is he talking to? Children here?
Well, pretend people didn't hear that.
No, I
Just move on.
Brad, I think what's happening is he just got escorted in by Elmo. Sniff me, Elmo.
Sniff me, Elmo. Sniff
Sniff
me,
me,
Elmo.
Elmo.
Sniffle me, Elmo.
Sniffle me, Elmo.
Very popular at Christmas.
Brought President Sniffs-a-Lot into the garden
Right.
with the Cookie Monster and Grimace and McDonald's clown, and
of course, yeah. That's his entire cabinet. It is fast food restaurant characters.
that's what he looks out and sees because of all the crazy hallucinogenic amphetamine cocktail they keep him on to get him awake.
That's how they get him to take the drugs. Sniffle me, Elmo says.
Maybe that's why they maybe that's why they plant all those colorful people every so often, so it sort of visually wakes him up.
Right,
as he scans the crowd.
He thinks he's seeing
like, that's true.
Corn Pop. He's having flashbacks about Corn Pop.
I just got here to this tea party with Alice. What a wonderful time we're having.
I want to make a note, Mr. President, a sketch of all of the McDonald's and Burger King characters being Biden's board. We need to film that as a sketch.
Oh, I think Ronald McDonald would make a great VP.
Him sitting out in the garden with the middle of them.
Who would make a great VP, Stella?
Ronald McDonald. I mean, he sort of disappeared off the scene, but he could make a comeback.
I watched some weird video on Ronald McDonald. Things got a little creepy with that clown.
Maybe Ronald McDonald's banging Kamala on the side and kind of her top advisor.
Possibly so. Nobody's shown
and
his
banging
shoes.
her husband on the side.
I mean, Kamala Harris does look a lot like The Rock these days.
The quick aside. So, going into all this stuff about Fannie Willis and Fulton County and all of the people involved in the Black Illuminati connections, I was turned on to this by somebody who used to be
what's the difference between the Illuminati and the Black Illuminati?
Well, there is the Black Illuminati was created by the Skull and Bones to control the black population through the appearance of it being a black, like a controlled, fraternities on these black campuses. this is stuff that I'm learning from members, people who used to be members of the Divine Nine Black fraternities. It's not like I'm not like a white dude speculating about this. I'm learning about this from former members of these fraternities. Is what I've been. I'm asking a lot of questions. It's very interesting. But
You got these conventions with these guys or what? What's going on here?
Well, I found some of them on YouTube that had they had just a low number of video views, but they're talking about Fani Willis and they're saying extremely insightful things. I'm like, this person has 35 views, and what she's saying is one. I know some of it's correct because I have verified some of it myself firsthand, but the connection to the sororities and the fraternities, the Divine Nine, I didn't know that, which made me start to research who Fani Willis hired for the district attorney's office when she got in, which was nothing but Divine Nine Black Illuminati members. And everybody involved in all of this stuff, the guy she's banging, the guy she was banging, her former husband, even fucking Shaquille O'Neal, who is pictured on a bunch of different websites as her husband. Nobody says anything about that except me. They're all members of these Divine Nine Black Illuminati fraternities. I can't remember the type of Freemasonry it's called. It's named after one of the guys. I can't remember the name of the guy off the top of my head, but it was a way to infiltrate the black community and cultivate black leaders that could be essentially what the Washington Post calls any black Republican, the black face of white nationalism, so to speak, or of white elitist. And it's extra. I listened to this preacher from 10 years ago give this sermon talking about this stuff. He's a black preacher at a black church talking about how these things were created to hold back the black. I mean, he nails it. I'll share it. You guys would probably, both of you guys would probably be interested in watching it, and I'll share it with you guys. It was really insightful, and I've started to rethink the Kamala Harris Knights Templar story that I've been talking about since 2015. So I just looked up Brandon Keel. So those who've listened to the show for a while know that Brandon Keel used to work for Kamala Harris in the Attorney General office when she was the Attorney General of California. And him and two other people, and there's all these wild pictures of them with the Clintons and some of the people you saw in this room during the State of the Union. These three guys, one of them worked for Kamala and used Kamala's name to get these meetings, went around to these police departments claiming to be members of the Knights Templar and descendants of the oldest police force in the history of the world. And they were there to declare that they had jurisdiction over these police precincts and the precincts over 33 states in America as well as Mexico.
Of course, it's 33.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg on that story, which I've been talking about for years now, because she's vice president. But I looked this guy up, and from what I can find, he was also a member of one of these Divine Nine fraternities, which just makes this connection even deeper, especially since I found out yesterday that Fani Willis met with Kamala Harris, who both went to Howard University, the HBCU, this is the home of the Divine Nine fraternities. This is where it all started. The Black Illuminati is Howard University, and they are members of the same Divine Nine fraternity or sorority. Just a couple of years apart, they had like a lunch or dinner meeting at the White House right before much of this investigation started. That is the Trump January 6th hearing in Fulton County. It's really wild, the connections, the deeper, I sound like Biden now, the deeper you dig on some of this stuff. And it's fascinating to me.
I'm not surprised at all. The Freemasons have pretty much infiltrated just about everything, which is why everything's taking place right now. Did I mishear Biden say something about a North Star earlier? Or was he saying something else? And that's all I heard.
He did use the phrase North Star.
He did. He said the skull of my 14-year-old daughter in the shower is my North Star, I believe is what he said.
I'd love to go back and hear whatever that line was.
I just really like to hone in on that right there. That is something that is not been...
I mean, don't you have the technology to do that right now? Can't we just rewind it to see what his North Star is?
We can maybe, the transcript
have to sit through it again. Yeah.
So the transcript doesn't come out immediately. So we'd have to take a minute. But I just
You can't just wind the video back.
I can wind it back, but it's like an hour and a half long.
Have to
We don't
find
know
it.
where
was
it
written the
was.
last 15 minutes. But yeah, we'll check it out when the show's finished, maybe, or something.
Biden, his North Star is fucking milkshakes. He drinks milkshakes and smells hair. That's
Yeah,
that's
but
Biden's
North
day.
Star is also like a 1,000 points of light.
Maybe it was in reference to Israel.
It's like an occultist term.
Yeah.
Stella, I think this is a White House website.
So look, the Morning Star. I mean, Jesus is also known as the North Star. So it can get a little bit confusing because both Satan and Jesus can be known as the Morning
And
Star.
people co-opt all these terms on purpose to manipulate them. But Stella, this is what you shared about the White House page.
Oh yeah, I took a screenshot just in case they took it down. So what did it get to there?
Let me get it up right. No, that was a weird thing to say. Let me get it up right. That was.
Dun, da, da, dun, dun, dun.
Sorry. This thing's hard to open. It's hard to open. Sorry.
Take your time.
Thank you, Mr. President. You're always very patient with that. All right. Yeah. All right,
He's very personable, Mr. President. Yeah. So there was the lovely choice of shooting an emoji at the White House website for Biden, and you had the choice of thumbs up, heart, or the party emoji.
It's like the equivalent of removing the dislike button.
The dislike, yeah, it is.
So here it is.
Someone's feelings might get hurt.
That's what you're talking about. You have the thumbs up, and then you have the heart, or you have the party celebration.
Yeah. So 1.7 million hearts it got to. Do you reckon they might have bought a few?
I think that this staff was sitting around just refreshing and clicking on all the different accounts. And Steve on Rockfin, when I say Shaq, I'm not kidding. When I first did a search of Fannie Willis's who is her ex-husband, you get all these sites that say 5 facts about Fannie Willis's ex-husband. Who is Fannie Willis's ex-husband? And she has obviously had the internet wiped of any details about their relationship. And on 6 different websites, I counted them and I have them saved. I showed them on a show. When you look up Fannie Willis's husband, Fred Willis, with Fannie Willis, one of these sites pops up with an image. And the image that pops up, it always says Fannie Willis with her husband, Fred Willis. And what I was doing for a while was I'd put it on screen and say, what do you notice about this picture of Fannie Willis and her husband? And most people, like, they suspected it, but it was just because I was trying to trick them a little bit. But it's not her husband. It's Fannie Willis and Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, who's a member of one of these Divine Nine fraternities, he came to an event that was hosted in Atlanta.
Wait a minute. So now you're alleging that Shaquille O'Neal is part of the Black Illuminati,
absolutely
the owner of Papa John's.
100% saying that Shaquille O'Neal, who took over Papa John's from that weirdo who sweats a lot, but who made great pizza, is part of. I like Shaquille O'Neal. I'm not saying Shaquille O'Neal knows what's going on, and I'm not saying that anybody who's in any of these fraternities is all in on the grand conspiracy. I'm just saying that Fannie Willis, after she got hired as a DA, filled the Fulton County District Attorney's office with nothing but members of the Divine Nine Black Illuminati fraternities. Now, maybe it's just her hiring her girls, because I know I'm not going to say white fraternities because they have, diversity in some of them anyway. Maybe not the KAs, but they do the same thing. They help each other out. But when you look at, and I've done this, I looked at the roster. I've gone through hundreds of people, not hundreds, about 100 people who work at the Fulton County DA's office. And about half of them are all from the HBCUs and were members of these Black Illuminati fraternities and were hired by Fannie Willis. And it's either way, whether it's some grand conspiracy, it's a takeover by a group of people who are following somebody who has proven herself to be nothing but corrupt and vengeful. It's not good. I've been arrested in Fulton County 10 years ago. I wouldn't want to see what it's like to be arrested there right now. I was innocent, by the way. A judge apologized to me a year and a half later.
Yes.
It's very true. They did.
Yeah, look, this doesn't surprise me one little bit. I mean, good digging, but this is just the ones that you know about.
You're right. Absolutely. So one more. I didn't even see this. I want to see this video here is titled Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre holds White House press briefing with Admiral John Kirby, and what she talks about is Biden's comment about the Cookie Monster, because this is very vital information. Why are grocery prices so high? Well, the president, the Cookie Monster's been consulting with the president, so...
First it's Kanye, now it's the Cookie Monster. What's next?
Thanks, Green. So Cookie Monster posted on X that shrinkflation is making his cookies smaller. The White House official tweet.
I just have to stop. You're in the White House getting to ask a question to the press secretary, and you start it by saying, so the Cookie Monster posted on X.
About
Twitter.
the president.
Right.
Or X responded that blaming shrinkflation basically on companies. So does the president again believe that shrinkflation and inflation are solely a company problem, or do his policies play any role in that?
So also for my tweet, I believe we said C is for consumers getting ripped off.
I have to pause. C is for consumers getting ripped off. What is she wearing? What is this shirt? Steph,
I
help me.
I cannot take this chick seriously. I can't take any of them seriously. It's like raiding through some strange ass doll toy box, And it's like these little characters get pulled out. It's like, oh yeah, we'll put her on stage.
It's
I don't know.
like she's on the set of a colonial, 1700s, pre-Revolutionary War movie with this puffy. It's a puffy shirt, Mr. President, is it not? Mr. President, did we lose you? Your
Very
microphone is muted.
double pointing down
The president
arrows.
is hugging Melania right now, and he's
We should leave
feeding
them.
Melania and his 9-foot-tall Nephilim son,
I hope his mic's off.
Byron. Yeah, his mic is off. Yeah, well,
muted.
let's hope so. There's no telling what kind of noises we get out of there. But that's just a weird. They
Yeah.
have stylists. They have.
Sorry, I just cut my finger a little bit.
What were you doing?
I was cutting up some grapefruit.
Grapefruit, huh?
Oh, he's very
grapefruit
healthy, the
is-
president.
I will
Mr.
say
Trump.
this, though. Grapefruit is not good for stroke victims. I don't know why, but apparently you're not supposed to eat grapefruit.
Is it just me or does she got like Chucky, that character from that
Chucky,
horror
the
movie?
Chucky movies. Well, I was wondering about her shirt. Does it look like a Revolutionary War type puffy shirt, a Seinfeld?
Like she looks like some type of marionette doll.
She looks like she
Yeah,
just
she
popped
does.
out of like a Jack in the Box.
Yep.
Yeah, a Korean.
I don't want to say the
box.
G word that I'm thinking of. So anyway, we'll
Yes,
just
yes,
move on
yes,
there.
yes,
Probably get
Right?
in
And
big trouble.
and the president has called on companies to stop taking advantage of Americans.
Good for
He's been
him.
very clear about that.
been clear about
He's repeatedly called on large corporations,
Publix
more
himself. He
specifically,
said,
to
"Lower
pass
those
along
lettuce
their
prices."
savings onto their customers. We've said that. We've been very consistent about that, and that includes ripoffs such as shrinkflation. We see that. And where the size of a product, for those who don't know, gets smaller even as the price stays the same or increases. That's what we've been seeing. And so it's giving families less bang for their buck. And the president has said, and I'll quote him, the president said, Americans are tired of being played for suckers. And so the president
They're tired of throwing pennies and quarters at strippers when they want to be tossing them dollars, and Benjamins.
going to have the American people's back. That's what he's going to continue to do. He's going to talk about this, not just
Look at her.
shrinkflation, but
She
other
looks
ways.
like a marionette
that-
doll. She looks like a possessed
Yeah.
Right.
doll
She looks like she's been wound up.
that's gonna go around murdering people if you buy her.
Like
Yeah.
Chucky's girlfriend.
You know how you those wind up dolls and they'll work for a little while, but then they'll start going too fast and then too slow, and it's just like I feel like her mechanics are malfunctioning.
that he sees corporations are ripping off
They're all
Americans.
breaking
You're going
down.
to hear from him shortly about what he's doing.
I'll tell you this: I could mop my kitchen with her hair. I mean, that is a hell of a mop on her head.
Next to
Oh, that was
Yeah.
really good. Do you do a
fees.
porky
I think that's
pig
really
too?
important. That's what America
Can do a what? Oh, can Stella do a who?
Oh, that was
Porky
sort of a
pig.
bit of a
Can
bit
you
of a
do
Popeye.
porky pig?
no, not really. That's all, folks. I don't know. It's a
That's pretty. That's good.
bit more
We're
Popeye than
looking
Porky Pig.
for we're looking for new characters, Stella, on this show. We haven't found a Biden yet.
All right.
But your vocal
You
range.
just need somebody who dribbles into a microphone, I
Mr.
think.
President, Stella is the lead singer. Like she's very musically talented and gifted. I imagine that she can probably do a number of voices, if I had to guess.
Americans want to see their president fighting on their behalf.
And out of that competition, Council, the president is announcing that strike force.
So I love seeing the completely bald guys that all look like Alexander, what's his name, the DOJ guy, because whenever you watch these documentaries about the CIA and covert operations, every single interview is with somebody who's completely bald because they need to be able to disguise themselves. Of course, there's bald guys, but in this setting, it's just like, look at this guy back here.
So you could put a wig on and be like a woman, or?
Yeah, no, this guy probably plays a trans woman. He's probably the what is it called? The story hour? He's probably the story hour guy. Drag queen story hour / CIA agent.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this guy behind him is I just graduated with my economics major. I'd like to get a question in.
I don't really like what I see in my future. That's what he looks like he's saying.
Or he's like, I can't believe they set me next to this female of color.
There's always, they make sure that everything's very color coordinated for the behind shots and stuff.
Help me with this for those listening, and maybe you guys, but you guys are both white, so I don't know how much help will be here. But
no, we're no good.
I saw a story about how a broadcaster lost his job, a news broadcaster, because he referred to a black person as a colored person. Yet on the news on a daily basis, you see freaking white people like Nikki Haley referring to themselves as people of color. What's the difference?
Right. It's just
did he say a colored person or a person of color?
He switched it. He got the order wrong. He said
so it's
a colored person. It's like you could just simply reverse the order and your career's ruined. Had you said it the right way.
Yeah, why is it racist to say a colored person, but a person of color is not racist?
No, that's like a virtue. You get hired by the White House if you say it the right way. So like he could have been Biden's top advisor.
No, it's meant to be confusing, right, Stella? It's meant to be confusing.
I would like to see that changed when you get in, Mr. President.
You should.
If you could just sign an executive order the very first day to change that would be very.
My executive order is just going to be that they got the black.
You should start calling everybody different shades of colors when you're president. I did want to I forgot to give the final.
Don't leave the purple people out.
5, right. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70.
We'll give a shout out to Josh Plancher if he's out there.
Josh, if you're listening, I enjoyed our improv together the other day, and I was just as weirded out by the girl who came in and tried to use feminism against the entire group. That's an inside thing. I'll explain it another day. So, Stella, there's a guy who's been a friend of both of ours, me and the president's, who had harassed me for a little while, for a couple of years on social media, and we used to do improv together, and I actually saw him at an improv show recently, and the first thing he did was give me a big hug. I gave him a big hug, and we had a fucking great time together. And we're doing a warm-up, and this is kind of like an improv show that's trying to be woke, and so they're trying to – people who recognize that and can exploit it can come in and just be super just dickheaded to people. Like a girl walked in and goes, oh, I don't want anybody touching me at all here because I don't know any of you people, which is the worst thing to say when you just meet new people and you're about to go do a jam session improv thing. But it was the empowered thing for her to say because she recognized it's a whole long thing to go into. But I loved it because my friend who had been harassing me for years, when this happened, looked at me and goes, that was weird. What's going on, dude? And I just said, dude, she doesn't want to be touched on stage. Stay away from her. She's going to kill you. And
she's the result of the monster that you created, buddy.
It was great, though. He had a recognition. And I knew during that show that every time I walked into a scene with her, because I'm a white guy and she's a white feminist liberal, that she was going to murder me immediately. And I used that. And she killed me multiple times, and it got so I used her feminism against her for the sake of both of us. But that's an aside here.
Nice.
Yeah. But yes, Josh, if you're listening, we love you. Let's see what else they have to say here.
Why did it take the Cookie Monster to speak up, or an election year for this strike force to go? Why not do it a couple of years ago?
How's
when
nobody laughing? How's everybody
Strike
have
force.
serious faces? A Cookie Monster strike force.
And when you and Cookie Monster and Ronald McDonald and Grimace got together and created a task force.
Inflation was
It's
9%.
I disagree with the premise of your
Fast
question here.
food,
It did not take the
six.
Cookie Monster. If anything, it feels like the Cookie Monster is responding to us and what we've been saying about shrinkflation. I can't believe I'm having a conversation about the Cookie Monster at the podium, but that is where, but that is,
Well, when
that's
you
a
make
good
up
one.
something
I'm glad
like
you're awake. I'm glad you
shrinkflation,
woke up for me. I know you were nodding off in the back earlier, but
But why did it take so long to announce a strike force?
I mean,
when
look,
inflation was
here's
9%?
here's the thing. The
here's
President's
the
Competition
thing. The
Council
color on
has
my
been
shirt
going.
is twice the size of the rest of my body.
The color of the shirt
I
The
reckon
collar.
it's sharp.
Oh, the
It's
collar.
probably razor
The
sharp.
collar.
and the color blends in kind of with the background too.
It's white, I think. Oh, let's have the blue-white dress conversation.
Doesn't
I think
she look?
her blouse is white.
Oh, is this white? Am I
I
looking
think
at
it's
the-
white.
Okay, maybe my.
Or is
screen's
it
wrong.
red?
Or is it
looks-
gold?
Maybe it's purple. Maybe it's different for all of us.
Okay,
That's what
whoever's watching, we
It
need to know.
reflects our morals, whatever color we see, I guess.
Black and gold or white and blue.
So you see white in that shirt.
I
please.
can see that it's white, but it's got a blue tint, probably because of
Okay.
the
No, I
color
see that.
temperature of
It's a
the.
light purple.
Yeah, purple lights. It's the
I
street
think
lights.
that we can agree though that she looks like a child in that shirt. It's
She
Looks like
very-
like
Chucky's
a
girlfriend.
marionette puppet.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Golly.
Going on for some time now, right? He has taken this very seriously and finding ways to lower costs for the American people as we are
He hasn't done that.
obviously dealing with inflation,
not
right?
done that.
Obviously dealing with that because of what we
Okay,
are
it's
coming
white.
out
You
of
guys are right.
with the pandemic. So the president has taken actions. He's going to continue to do that. I would say the strike force is just another way along of many other announcements that this president has made in dealing with large corporations ripping off Americans, right? And dealing with how do we get rid of junk fees. And so that's what you're going to hear from the president. So to say that, now all of a sudden he cares about this is not true. It is a false premise. It's a false
bet he
question
loves the
because the
smell of
president
her
has been
French fry
dealing with
hair.
this for some time now. And now he's making a new announcement on the strike force. And I think it's important. And so you'll hear more from him
Cookie
momentarily.
Monster Strike Force. There it is. This is the conversation we get from our journalist in the White House.
So wait a minute. What is a Cookie Monster Strike Force, though?
Yeah, what is that?
So you're a fan of Batman, Mr. President. You know how he has all his monitors in his bat cave where he's watching everybody? Just imagine that's the Cookie Monster.
I can't imagine that the Cookie Monster has that many resources as Bruce Wayne does. Bruce Wayne's a billionaire.
Well, the Cookie Monster's funded by the government, so.
Oh, well, he's funded by PBS, which is funded by the government.
He gets billions in taxpayer dollars and tiny weapons, like Ian said, shrinkflation weapons. And those monitors, he watches them. And so he keeps track of what kind and type of cookies you're eating and the amount and your potential for diabetes. And they use that health information to create a strike force to go around and force people to eat more or less cookies.
Yep, they send Big Bird around.
Wait a minute. It sounds there was a watch the third season of the Upright Citizens Brigade sketch show. They did a whole thing with nutrition Nazis.
You're such a huge comedy fan, Mr. President. But I think that you're right. I think that is maybe where they're getting some of this is the nutrition Nazis.
Well, I mean, now that Amy Poehler's an arm of the government,
Totally, dude. She's the one who welcomed out Biden on Seth Meyers' show the other night.
I can't believe that these people that were stoner comedians are now like CIA assets.
They're paid. I mean, the ones at the highest levels have to be paid. You have to be completely brainwashed and distracted, I think, to be fully psyoped and buy into Biden's okay. Like, we have a friend who, when we make fun of Biden, tells us he's an old man with a speech impediment, dude. Which is just like,
but he's the president.
Right, that's what our friend says.
With the speech impediment.
But our friend means well, but he is like truly avoiding cognitive dissonance and just rolling with the confirmation bias content that he's getting fed. And I don't think that the Rachel Maddows of the world, I think that they are just cashing in. I don't.
Which your show would just upset him.
Joe, yeah, it would.
Your show.
Which what now?
Your show, if he listened to it, would just upset him.
Would it upset him? I mean,
I think so.
He's a great guy. I do talk about. He's my example. My audio's dipped a little. I might have turned it down a little bit. I love him. He's a great guy, but he is my kind of model for a brainwashed progressive who means well, but he's pursuing the wrong ways to help things. But he's like the type of these people I'm thinking of, the type of people who have met like one black person in their life, and it's somebody who grew up down the street from them in their wealthy neighborhood full of mostly white people, and who is basically just like them. And so they base all of, like, that's the black guy they know, but they think they have to protect all black people and build bridges for them. And I'm like, dude, if you said any of this shit to black people, like I play basketball, I know a lot of black, they would think you were fucking stupid and weird.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very strange.
One
where
more
the country
thing.
is.
Yeah, Brad does a lot of midnight basketball.
I do. I've played some midnight basketball.
Instead of going and doing gang violence, he'll go and play basketball.
I go to the inner city and I say, "Hey, put down the guns and pick up the basketball, guys."
Yeah, it's a way.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys
rebuilding
saw this.
America.
Yeah, one basketball park
at a time.
Which was fucked up because in New York City during the pandemic, you know what they did? They fucking prevented people from going to the basketball courts.
Yeah.
I mean, how fucked up is that?
It's all right. You could go to the brothel.
Yeah, go to the brothel where you can fuck a whore for a jab.
Forget basketball.
So this is Biden.
Help the economy.
What? Watch Biden here. This is at some meeting. I don't even know what the meeting's about, but Biden kind of starts off by saying, maybe I shouldn't take questions. I'm not even sure what he says. But then he just sits there for like 10 seconds.
Now, Ukraine's fight also shows that we urgently need to expand our own production capabilities and coordinate even more closely with our partners and allies. And we need Congress to pass the National Security Supplemental and the full year appropriations so that we can keep investing in our industrial base. And I appreciate everyone here and your support to make the President's executive order a reality. These initiatives will promote competition and revitalize our defense industrial base to keep America safe in the 21st century. Thanks.
He's not even paying attention.
Yeah, was he asleep or what?
Yeah, watch this.
I better not start the questions. I'll get in trouble.
Oh, not again.
Super Tuesday said you have a message for voters. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.
Oh, they can see he's about to have a stroke or something.
He's sitting there.
Wow.
And he mumbles something to himself. This is a joke.
Yeah, that's how many times has he said that now? Like where he's going to get into trouble, and
that's his go-to. He's got all these cliches he goes.
What did he say?
I'll get in trouble if I start opening up the questions.
Yeah,
you're right.
He's going to get in trouble from someone. Who is it? Like Satan.
Right, Nancy. Yeah. So Steve says he's not so fiery in that clip. You're right, and I was thinking the same thing. He didn't get his amphetamine injections or the cocaine eye drops.
Tranquilizer was setting in a little bit sooner.
If he, Kamala probably gets in her BDSM suit and smacks him around.
Dude,
becomes his mama.
Yeah, she walks him around in his dog suit. All right. A little bit. If you guys got to run, you can let me know. I just enjoy seeing this after commentary stuff. And so we just had Anderson Cooper talking.
To steal the election posed a great gravest threat.
They're showing
US
highlights.
democracy
The great
since the Civil
propagandist.
War.
Yeah,
Right.
you could always
But
pick
they
the highlights
failed.
every time.
This is a highlight.
He stumbled on his words, and that's a highlight.
Well, it's when
Yeah.
Kamala stands up, so it makes it easy for the editor to find.
Right. Kamala stood up 78 times, by the way. Mike Johnson stood up 4 times.
There's the guy with
Let's be
a
honest.
cane in the
The
corner.
threat to democracy must be defended. My predecessor and some of you here seek to bury the truth about January 6th. I will not do that. Political violence has absolutely no place in America. Zero place.
0 place. Let's see what the headlines are saying.
Bury
zero.
the truth.
In November, my team began serious.
So CNN's headline on the top of their page says Biden's fiery address, the State of the Union. The president his forceful speech was often ad-libbed.
Who's old shovel face?
Who's that guy?
there?
Which guy they show?
Got together and said it was
The
a
AI
different
looking guy.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, old
That's
shovel
amazing.
face.
Oh, here's
That was
Anderson.
some of
here we
the
go.
wrong side for the first, but then that was some of his. Do you think that was effective, David?
Such a trustworthy
yeah,
face.
I do. Look, first of all, I think he knew that was going to happen, and he was ready to do it, and he did it because there's a tremendous amount of hypocrisy associated with what happened. James Lankford is, in fact, one of the most conservative members of Congress.
It's David
He spent
Axelrod,
months
former Obama
assiduously
advisor.
negotiating what would have been the strictest border bill in decades, and then it was tanked, and it was tanked, as the president said, because Donald Trump wanted it tanked. So he knew this moment was going to elicit a response, and he wanted to say exactly what he said.
So Trump is not president, yet he has all this power, they presume, with the way they talk about it.
The last 3 years, on day one.
This guy looks like a dealer at a casino, card dealer.
Yeah. Yeah, the red
After 3
hanky.
years of telling the
Yeah.
American people the border was secure, after having unleashed this on
No,
the
I
American
understand
people,
that.
on the exec, and then saying, "Well, we didn't pass the
No, I
bill, so it's
understand.
all their
Look,
fault." It's not. It's
No,
not
I
going
understand
to
that
work.
you feel like you feel, and you're probably right. This is a good issue for
Oh,
Republicans.
is he their
but
token
the public
conservative?
actually
Yes,
wants
he is,
answers
exactly.
to it. This was an answer,
Do you think
and Trump tanked it.
Do you think the public believes Joe Biden has the answers?
I think the public believes that the bill, I think if they saw the details of the bill and its particulars, they would say, yeah, those are good things and we ought to do
But
that.
do they ever see
And in
the
fact, you would have
details?
said that too.
Do they ever see the details of the bill? No.
But he also said nothing. Everything was vague. If the American people saw the details of this and then that and then the other, the American people could make their decision on that.
I think it would be fun to be the token conservative or non-left winger on CNN one day. I mean, I would totally they would never ask me back. But this guy does it day in and day out. He just goes there to get abused. That's all he does.
Senator says that's true.
Yes.
This girl looks like a yellow crayon.
Because I'm sure he knew the camera was going to be on him. So he's really discounting what you're saying right now.
Some
is
sort
that
of tropical
that bill
fish.
would have solved the problem.
Right, yeah.
And if you want to be the party who says you want to take the
should add
future
a fish
forward,
tank
then you
graphic.
have to solve problems. But that's not what's happening. And the person on the top of your wait, let me finish. The person on the top.
Even the way that guy dressed, they dressed him up in conservative look. The wardrobe department did.
To do their job.
That guy?
That is what
Yeah,
happened
the
on
conservative.
The blue tie and the red.
Right. Yeah.
President Biden
Yeah, it's like
created the
on the
crisis,
fence.
only went to the border because
Who's this
Governor
angry
Abbott
tick?
gave some immigrants options to go to Democratic cities and
I don't
elevate
know.
it to be a national issue.
He's
And
sucking
now
it
angry
at the last
fish.
minute, and right before the fourth quarter, right before the end of the game,
Looks like she's about to kill him.
Look at the dynamic on this screen image here. You have somebody who obviously went to an HBCU. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that, but they're showing the most diverse people to like this guy looks like he just walked out of a Klan meeting and took his hood off. The guy who's talking. Right?
He's talking like he's a college football coach.
Kind of, yeah. And he's a Republican too.
For a while, it has gotten.
Oh,
worse.
here's Van Jones.
Everybody's got a number that's too many. We hit our numbers, Democrats, and we couldn't find a
Find
partner.
the,
and I think that's not good. You wouldn't take the yes for an answer, and I'm glad that Biden.
Yeah, the
called out.
super along the bottom is just getting bigger and bigger, isn't it?
We are joined now by a very special guest who
Jake
was in the
Tapper.
House chamber for tonight's State of the
Is that
Union
just
address.
like a TV crew just walks
Speaker
behind?
Emerita,
Nancy.
Oh God, look at her. She looks like a drag queen.
Yeah,
Nancy
she
Pelosi,
does.
Tits
Speaker
Pelosi.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. So I
Pull 'em out, Nancy.
this may have been the highest stakes speech.
What is
Oh,
she
boy,
wearing
she's always
around
got
her
that
neck?
Career in
weird
politics, it may
smile
have been the
thing.
highest.
She has a BSMD necklace on, does she not?
BSMD, BDSM.
Whatever it's called.
Yes.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
what is
so-
Well,
that?
you think she's got like a gag necklace on?
Yeah, I think she's got a ball gag she just took out before the camera.
And
turned
I
on.
think it was one of the finest State of the Union addresses. I
Her
have
eyebrows
seen.
are
I've
very
seen many.
strange.
So obviously, a
One of
lot
the
of Republicans are
finest.
critical of it. One of the things that they're criticizing it for is for being political, and it was a very political State of the Union address.
Well, it had some political aspects to it, mostly generated by the audience saying 4 more years.
I don't know.
But
Nancy's
Mostly generated
perhaps,
by
and
the
these have set
audience.
in on the disgraceful speech that Donald Trump gave to the chamber.
The one you ripped up?
Well, there were so many
forgot about
disgraceful
that.
ones. I'm getting them.
I was
but this
thinking
is the
about
one
that. I
where
had
he
a lot
gave
of flashbacks watching it.
presidential medal to somebody who was.
Oh, Rush Limbaugh?
Yeah, all that stuff.
I love
and all
Rush.
he talked about was the election and the rest. And as speaker, I was offended because it is not
That is a very
political rally. And by the
weird
way,
necklace.
he had the convention at the White House.
Right.
It's a
So
choker, is what it is.
Okay.
Let's get to
Yeah,
what's important to
sort of.
Americans.
What the fuck is
working
she
families
talking about?
Instead of, some of
She's
the-
just a bag of leather and bones.
President.
That's all she is.
Yeah. With,
She's a
with
bag
very
of
nice
leather and
breasts.
bones.
Don't forget about. I mean, you know.
But she's always got this painted on smile, hasn't she? She always, like it's her
What's
default
her problem?
face.
Like, what's she bringing up poor old Rush Limbaugh for? He's dead.
Pelosi is so used to politics. Like I imagine that's how she behaves when she orders coffee at a local, wherever she lives, San Francisco coffee joint. It's all disingenuous.
This cane gets me. This cane that was being held up with
yeah,
the
whose cane
brass
was that?
handle.
Right.
I reckon that's got
I'm
some sort of
optimistic, Nancy.
significance.
It's like
actually.
a golden handle.
Yep, it's
Yeah.
brass. Yeah.
She
Who
is
said
a
that to you?
she is a character
Do you
out of
disagree
the
with him
Hunger
privately
Games.
about his?
So, I don't know if you guys, very Hunger Gamesy. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for the new Trans Joker movie that is coming out soon.
Trans Joker.
There's a trans
Joker?
a Trans Joker movie. I played the
Of course
trailer
there
for
is.
it on the show yesterday, but I actually
Hmm.
would not hate it if Nancy Pelosi played an iteration of
Yeah.
the Joker.
Yes, definitely. She's got the smile for it.
She's like the Cesar Romero version of
Yeah, she can pull it
to be
off.
presidential, to show a path.
Trans
And I
Joker
think,
movie.
quite
What are you
frankly,
talking about?
While I missed
show it
the
to you.
Nancy part, I did
After, if you want to see it.
love what he said at the end about 2 paths. You have a path that takes us to the path narrowing our freedom. In the history of our country, we have always expanded freedom. From a
She has to talk to
constitution
everyone
which,
like we're all her
thank God our
grandchildren.
founders made it amendable.
she's giving
No
a
one's
teaching
silly,
slavery,
smart.
yeah.
expanding
She
rights to
tells
vote,
us
black men,
fantasy
women,
story.
And her husband got hit in the head with a hammer by a
I was
she
just
never
thinking
brings
about
that
him.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's hubby? And that very
Privacy
strange
is not
encounter.
guaranteed in the Constitution, and we are ignoring precedent of the court. Everything else is at stake, whether it's marriage equality
That's why
or
she's
whatever
got the
else.
ball gag on
So
her.
this was a path to go
She
back,
doesn't go anywhere
or
without
a
a
path
ball
to
gag.
go to the future. And I think that he very clearly laid out a vision for the future
should
based
have it
on
on
values
permanently,
and
really.
really centered around
Probably right,
America's
Nate.
working families, which has always been his commitment. And quite frankly, I think tonight was a clear definition between the Democrats and the Republicans. Is what
like,
we
I
sta-
would have
we
cheated on
stand for.
on my
And
husband with
he
Joe
has
Biden
faced down big money in guns and won, big money in pharma and
She's a
won,
total criminal. What's
big
she
money
doing
in
there?
Fossil fuel industry
Everything
and
she's
won
saying
with
is bullshit.
legislation. And the
Yeah, I do wonder what Biden's doing right now because he's all amped up on the amphetamine, so they can't put him to bed.
Having a
So
nap.
They're probably running around like a wild puppy trying to bite people. They're probably trying to manage him around the White House right now. He's got
the
his little red
buttons
rocket.
that your colleagues across the aisle had.
There
and
wasn't too
he
much
had
damage
one of those
control to be
buttons.
done.
I believe it was given to him by Marjorie Taylor Greene. And when she said something to him during his speech,
she
he
wearing all
responded. I
pink?
think we have that. Let's listen to
Let's
it.
see
I
Marjorie.
didn't see any Republican buttons.
Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by
I will
an
keep this
illegal.
egg safe.
That's right. But how many of the thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand.
So Lincoln Riley is a University of Georgia nursing student who was killed recently, and I think that it was an illegal immigrant who they're saying killed her, and that's why that is the topic.
I know, but it's the propaganda always goes to the heartstrings, doesn't it? So he's
Right.
always got to
Yeah,
bring
yeah.
in his own,
He's got the-
like make everyone feel sorry for him, sort of thing, and the people who just have no
totally,
freaking
yeah.
idea or fall for it.
And I don't know the details of that story. There was an immigrant story similar, like I don't know if it's 2020. It might have been 2016 actually, where somebody was killed that was on in San Francisco by an immigrant, an illegal immigrant, and it was a similar launching off a talking point, and then that immigrant changed their name, and I think actually was found. I need to research this again, but that immigrant changed their name. All the information about this person got wiped away, and I think this person might have actually gotten found not guilty in the end.
Is there a trans Batman in this trans Joker movie?
I'll play the trailer for you here in a second. I'll
He's
let you-
still thinking about Batman.
Let me find it,
I
and I'll
didn't
play it for you.
do too much schmoozing with the Republicans before. Usually we do, and we had some conversations, but none of the ones that came over to converse with us had those buttons on, so I didn't see the buttons. So we want to make a thing of the button. The president, I think, handled it very well.
Yeah, and I think
he handled it very well. It's a terrible situation that anybody losing a child or a family member. It's a terrible situation.
There we go.
If we assume it's all real, then it is terrible. I don't disagree
well
with
know that one of the questions that people were looking at, they were wanting to see
They
how
just
he
use it.
performed when it comes to his age.
Right.
Yeah.
They pay
And
attention
you think
to
that-
it when it
You
helps
think
them.
he put it
Yeah.
to rest, at least for a short time?
Well, I thought he
Straight to the
that's a good
heartstrings. That's
point.
why propaganda works, because they just go straight for the heartstrings.
It's a very valid point, Stella. There's just a bunch of crimes that happen every day, right? And most of the time they get ignored.
Yeah.
But when, there's one that we could really fuel this agenda with, let's pay attention to this one, and we'll make it a
could use that.
national story. Yeah.
And the
don't even
president
have to make it,
myself.
yeah.
With age comes wisdom, judgment, knowledge.
How
And
would
this
she know?
president, when he was speaking, I was thinking, at last
Except for the
people
age
are
bit.
seeing the way we see him, which is when you go in there, you don't have to speak short, a longhand to him on subjects. He's in.
I just wonder how long it takes the world to for everybody to recognize, like we have, that these are just theater kids
Yep.
bullshitting people.
Yep.
It-
With their
it's-
support actors, the media.
Right. But they have been able to cultivate this image with the help of the media and raise all of this money from other theater kids who want to fund their theater bullshit to try and shape reality in their own image. So it's all about forcing a reality on everybody else. And you run these people out there who they think are going to have the most influence by the actor or the person they pretend to be. And they just shove bullshit down people's mouth. I feel like, even though not everybody, I feel like more people have kind of woken up to that. And I think while some people are still very, very brainwashed, I think it's going to be harder for them to reach more people. Maybe all they need to reach is a small amount of people to cause whatever chaos they want to cause. But it just baffles me when somebody looks at this stuff and doesn't think it's a joke.
It's just the cover story on the stage while the big boys in the back room put their big pants on and
Yeah.
make the moves.
Right after
And then
gay
you looked at
sex
it and you
session.
saw lots of exclamation points, which was
I
really
can't
just a
stand
symbol of
Aaron
how
Burnett.
much he had.
This woman, the
so-
reporter.
Yeah, look at them sitting out on a balcony in front of the Capitol. This background, it's just so stupid. They try and give themselves a sense of prestige, and they're full of fucking
From
shit.
the moment he walks in that
Yeah,
room,
that's an
he's got
AI
the energy
background.
to stay through to
Probably.
the end, and
Yeah, I
by
think
the
so.
end he's still schmoozing afterwards. That's very
I found the
important. because
trailer.
That's what people wanted to see. And exclamation points. He also puts tick marks next to the words where he needs to take a breath. He's
You
been
know-
doing this ever since he started giving
You put
speeches.
tick
50
marks
years
where he
ago.
needs
And
to
did
take
you
a
hear
breath.
that? Now that you knew
It's
that. You said-
it's part of his practice. It's part of the reason. It's as Kate knows better than I do. It's part of the reason why he starts early and needs to rehearse because he knows he's got to.
He
This stutter
rehearsed?
never goes away. It's been a part of his life forever.
Oh, okay.
And, he
It's a
masters
stutter.
it at an early age, but it comes back. And so when you hear him,
Yes.
this
Oh,
is
you're
something
right,
that she's
Stella.
dealt with for
The stutter.
all of his life.
That's how he
This is the
manages.
cover.
Even in it, with all
It's the cover for being a
the short
bumbling old fool.
sentences and the
Oh, you nailed
That's
that.
why he
plethora of
started
exclamation
25
points
minutes
to
late.
where he wanted to put emphasis. There was a lot of ad libbing.
And we started noticing that. You started noticing that.
little bit
Let's
of
play a
ad-libbing,
couple for anybody
maybe.
who's just joining us now.
Let's.
Couple of
They're going to
examples
actually
of that.
highlight it.
I'm good enough.
Brilliant.
I'm smart enough.
Republicans can
doggone
cut
it,
Social
people
Security and
like
give more tax breaks to the wealthy. I will. That's the proposal. Oh no, you guys don't want another $2 trillion tax
That's
cut?
not ad-libbing.
I kind of thought that's what the plan was.
So look, I taught stand-up comedy for 4 years, and one of the
Title
things
script.
that terrified people of doing stand-up comedy was hecklers. And one of the things that eases people's minds is hecklers are typically pretty predictable, and you can run through a bunch of scenarios of here's what might happen, and here are a number of ways to respond
They
to it.
keep showing him. Who is that guy?
Which one?
Yeah, that's right. So you've just got this
You
automatic
keep
reaction sort of.
missing it. Every time.
But no, what's interesting is that before the State of the Union address, they were talking on CNN how, the Republicans were told by Mike Johnson, not to heckle Biden because Biden's ready for those heckles and he's going to get you back. And then now they're showing him, responding to heckles as though this is natural, trying to show his mental versatility.
No,
This
his
has all been
response to
rehearsed.
heckles is, "Excuse me, look at this earnest, angry face I'm giving."
Yeah, but you know what you also do, because we've done like Mr.
mess with
President.
me.
And we staged this thing at the end of a show with this WWE wrestler one time because we were just doing an experimental show. And the end of it was a packed house. I pretended that to get into a fight with a WWE wrestler named Raven, which was super fun. And we had all of these people staged in the audience to come out and we staged all of it. Okay. And that's my point is people thought it was real until we made it obvious that it was staged. That's what's going on here. They staged the heckles to make Biden look mentally versatile, in my opinion.
So when he's
Oh,
talking
I'm
about
100% with you.
talks about things
100%.
from a place of his own experience,
failed.
and every as he's explaining where he stands on things, he takes the time to talk about why
That guy
he
needs
feels
a
that
booster
way,
seat.
why
He looks
his-
too
why,
tiny.
why he's been shaped that way. That's a perfect
remote
example.
controlled.
I mean, and you saw that frequently.
He looks like somebody I'd never want to sit next to at
And what
lunch.
struck me, something that was very
He looks
new,
creepy.
was the
He
way
really
he
does.
talked
Pee-wee
about age
Herman-ish.
at the end. 6 months ago, he wasn't talking about it that way. He wasn't really comfortable addressing it head on. He would make an offhand comment. But I think what you heard tonight was the beginning of a strategy for how he's going to talk about it, which is it's not the age of
He
how
looks
old
like
you
he
are,
never
it's about
misses
the
an
age of your
opportunity to
ideas. Are
roofie
they
somebody's
fresh? Are they
drink.
forward-looking? That's something that's, at one point he said, young or old, I've had a sense of our North Star. I think there is a way in
There we
which
go.
we're going to hear about age for the next 8
North
months. It's
Star.
a reality.
Yep.
But as much as you perform and
Look
you
at
show
her.
people, look, judge this performance for yourself, but also talk about it and acknowledge it.
Yeah,
and say
judge
that
the
this is a
performance
big
for
issue
yourself
this
because he
country, and
didn't
I
look
take
like
it
an old
seriously.
man.
And
All
ending
that
on it,
bad,
knowing
did he?
that people will
Absolutely.
remember that.
Don't
Right?
run
Not
away
trying
from
to
it.
bury it.
Yeah,
All right, of course,
absolutely.
staying with us as our special coverage continues.
Special
Coming up, the
coverage,
big
very
question
special
tonight is
coverage.
how the president's speech played with actual voters. So we are now getting the first.
What's like truly extraordinary, if you could do like a bird's eye view, or if we were 100 years in the future analyzing this, it would be like, man, they treated this candidate as a serious candidate, and the population, at least some of the population, bought into it. It's an extraordinary psychological operation. I think that this is what, of course, the winners write the history books, but I think this will be analyzed as one of the biggest psychological operations, the most bold psychological operation in the history of the world.
Brad,
Yes.
the history is watching.
Fucking A. I forgot about the history.
There has been so many psychological
democracy.
operations. It's so hard to
Yeah,
pick
I-
a favorite, isn't it? I mean, like
What
we
is
first we had
happening on the screen? What was that thing?
That's
Is that Biden?
That's Reacher. Jack Reacher is fighting
It's Nancy
Joe,
on a
it's Joe
in the
Biden's
morning.
dog. That's why I had to get rid of the dog. Now, I've been scanning the walls with one of those, not stud finders, but history finder to see if there's any history in my walls watching. And I've been
Yeah, well, you can't call it a stud anymore, can you? That's offensive.
That's you got to call it
Yeah,
I don't know what you call it.
a thing finder.
Stud. It's like the N word saying stud. Yeah, it's gonna be a thing finder. You guys got any thing finders?
Yeah, that's it. I'm just.
Go to Home
I need to
Depot.
find
I
the
gotta
thing.
find that thing in my wall.
What are you looking for? I'm looking for the thing, the wall.
The thing. The
The
thing.
thing in the wall that
The
keeps the wall
sturdy-
standing.
And they're like the stud. Shut the fuck up! Don't say that.
thing in the wall. I hear it scratching at night.
Yes, it's a stud in the wall. All right, here's the trailer. I'm going to show you that trailer, and then we can get out of here. It's been.
Oh, yeah, so I was wondering.
Thanks
is
for
it
hanging
back
out, by the way, guys.
trans?
Yeah, I've enjoyed hanging out with you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thanks
let me
for
get this
having me.
off. Stella, it's
Would
good
it
to talk
be-
to you. It's been a while, so it's always fun.
It has been a while. Yes, it's funny. I sent you a little video of Stumpy, and then you turned up.
What is so? Tell the audience and tell Mr. President what Stumpy is.
Stumpy is an eastern water dragon that has befriended me and adopted me
And it's
because
in
I
love
give
with
good
Stella.
worm.
It loves Stella. It's the craziest thing.
What?
Stella sent me this video, and it's a water dragon that Stella has a water dragon that's better trained than my dog Edmund.
What is a water dragon? It sounds like. Do you live in Mordor?
Yeah, Middle Earth. Very, very similar to the Floridian iguana. So if you can
Yes.
imagine one of them, only sort of more dull, not as green, more of a brown, but very,
Yeah.
very similar size too.
No, I shame Edmund. I'm like, Edmund, that water dragon would have listened. Stella's water dragon wouldn't have chewed and barked at that stranger for no reason. Here's what a water dragon is.
It's actually, I'm almost out of worms in my worm cafe. Yeah, there
I
we go.
just
That's
heard
it.
something react to the word Edmund.
Your dog did?
Yeah. He's wondering, where's Edmund?
The president's dog and Edmund are buddies. They're like best buddies. And they haven't seen each other in a while, but they love hanging out. So how big is the water dragon, Stella?
Stumpy is, well, he's a little bit.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Sorry.
uh-oh.
Sorry,
that's
I
all right.
clicked the wrong thing.
I thought it was Mr. Trump, actually. So yeah, he's had an injury, or maybe he was deformed when he was born, but he's got like this club sort of at the end of his tail. You know, like those dinosaurs where they've got spikes on this big club. I'd love to see spikes growing out of it, but we haven't got there.
So he is going to like knock off intruders with the spikes on his tail.
Well, it's amazing because I'm almost out of worms in my worm cafe, which is basically what I feed him. And it's like the reptilian depopulation program has worked perfectly. I have to
Yeah.
breed more worms, play some more Barry White.
The good thing about it is that you have an in with the lizard community.
I have. Yep, I'm in there. So
I mean,
it's
can't
all
you
good.
go to a pet
Trust
store
me.
and get more, or like a bait shop? You go to a bait shop and get all the worms you want.
She lives in
Yeah.
Australia. I don't know if there's bait shop. I don't know anything about Australia. other
Ah,
than-
yeah.
You don't think there's bait shops in Australia?
I don't know.
We do have fish.
Was that? That was Ash, wasn't it?
Mr. Trump
Yeah, he's
still.
going crazy.
Yeah, no, I just raise my own worms. Yeah.
I have mine 3D printed. That's what I do. All right, this is the People's Joker. I know we'll get out of here.
The People's Joker.
Yes, in theaters April 5th.
The
Wait,
trans
Gotham
one?
City is nothing but neon bikers, nothing but.
Do what?
Wait, so hold on.
Ash is pissed off.
So wait a minute. So is it's not Warner Brothers?
Well, Warner Brothers, they opposed this, but their challenges against it were for not. Because there was a comment a moment ago that Warner Brothers was just upset that they didn't do it first, and I think that I agree with that position. Because somebody's using the Joker character in a movie that has. This was reported in the Rolling Stone yesterday.
But is the Joker in public domain?
I don't think so.
Well,
I think
I know
that's a
one
good-
part of Batman is in public domain. So it could be the same Joker from
maybe
the
it's
one who was based off of The Man Who Laughs.
Oh, yeah.
Watch the trailer. Maybe it's the Joker. Maybe it's a Silent J. I don't know how they get around it.
The Hoka. It's like Jesus.
I
the
think it's
Hoka.
probably because it's gotten so much momentum and it's a trans thing that there's nothing Warner Brothers can do at this point without, because they've done all of this
Yeah,
effort.
without looking. Yeah.
They've ruined all of their programming to appeal to this crowd. They can't very well stop a movie that
Yeah.
appeals to that crowd better than them because they didn't produce it.
Touche.
All right, let's see what it looks like.
Gotham City is nothing but neon biker gangs, leather freaks, and cross-dressers. Is that what you want? Come home!
No, I won't, Mom. I'm gonna be a comedian. When I look back on my life before going jokeman to harlequin, so to speak, I wasn't even sure I existed. It's like blurry, cracked mosaic of all these gender revelations.
You mean she's a he?
I'm trans. Well, I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry. I was fairly certain I was in love, and I was so afraid of that feeling going away.
Ah, but you should be afraid.
I just want my happy little boy back.
I just don't feel like a boy.
You're not.
I'm going to take it back just to read that little on-screen graphic there. So on screen right there, it says, from the CIS and twisted mind of Verna Drew. And then as it goes forward, a red X goes through cis, and it says sick, from the sick and twisted mind.
Little boy back.
I just don't feel like a boy.
You're not. Boy, I've developed an experimental treatment. You'll be Mama's happy little boy.
Also comes in rainbow for pride.
It was foretold that someday a clown would rise.
Sounds pretentious.
It is.
Whatever you say, Mr. J.
Hunka hunka. Now you must journey inside yourself.
I'm not a hero, and I'm not a villain either.
So who are you?
I'm a woman of my word.
I thought clowns were supposed to be funny.
So I wasn't sure at first that this was like a parody of it, you know? And then I read the article from the Rolling Stone, which talked about the creator of it being a trans person. That was at least the way the media is portraying it is that it is definitely an LGBTQ trans pro film.
Right.
Even though it seems
Looks horrible.
It looks horrible.
I can't wait to miss that one.
Right? It's like that's an independent film. I've been in independent films that are just so bad.
I could tell. Yeah.
You know?
It's independent.
It's so hard to make a good
something
movie.
from the 1960s.
Right, but it's in theaters though because it's a trans Joker. So all you have to do is take something that is like a cult or a well-known figure and make it trans, and it could be a shit movie, and you'll be in theaters everywhere.
Yep, it'll be totally acceptable. And they can't come up with anything new anyway because they just can't create.
How can we take advantage of this? What movie character do we need to turn trans? I think the Punisher. I've said
Klaus
this
Schwab?
before. Klaus Schwab. Trans.
Turn him
Klaus
trans?
Schwab.
Trans
I mean,
Schwab.
isn't that the end of the line for Klaus Schwab anyway? Is that not inevitable that he becomes a large-breasted woman?
We could turn Yuval Noah Harari straight.
Is that the guy that was interviewed on Colbert earlier this week?
I
The
don't know. I
Microsoft
didn't watch
guy?
him.
So
No.
it says that the Joker doesn't go into public domain until 2036.
No, you're right. But this movie is Warner Brothers is, for whatever reason, they don't like it, but they're not doing anything about it. I don't know if they can't or if there's been if they've changed the Joker image enough so it's the creative copyright thing, whatever it's called.
Parody. It could be under parody.
Parody, yeah, that's true.
Because they're using Gotham City. They're using a lot of likenesses.
JC says the only reason it made it into theaters is they hijack someone else's brand and they're pushing the woke agenda. No, he's right.
Yep.
And what I'm
Absolutely.
saying is, whose brand can we hijack?
So,
and push the
so
woke
is it
agenda?
only in theaters for a day?
No, I think it's in theaters for a while. I mean, I think it's going to be the first thing you see when you turn on your Amazon Prime. It's going to be pushed on you until you watch it.
We should watch it because there might be like some incident at a theater when it comes out.
I watched Aquaman.
A MAGA
too,
Trump or a
and that movie was
cis
Like a-
white
terrible.
person
A
kills
false
a bunch of
flaggy
people.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Aquaman 2 was garbage. Total garbage.
So is Aquaman? So what if we did Aqua They?
Aquaman.
Could they?
I mean, that would the studios can't. I'm telling you, Mr. President, we've been talking about pitching things and where the money's going. They cannot say no to a they lead character.
Well, I told you about First Lady, Brad.
Well, tell us about First Lady.
First Lady is the first trans First Lady. And she is a former Navy SEAL.
Who's it based off of?
Chris Beck, who
Okay,
became
yeah.
Kristen Beck, who's now Chris Beck again, who says the government.
This is
he
true,
says-
Stella.
Hold
That's
on,
true
hold on.
confusion. Right
No,
there.
but listen. This is the crazy part: is when he turned back, he said that the government and the therapy that they were taking him to for his PTSD, they were whispering things in his ear about how he was a woman.
I'm sure they were. There's Chris Beck as a man and woman.
Oh, can't believe I've never seen
Right
this
there.
thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, not a very convincing woman.
They're not a very good
Right.
woman.
They need to have the third photo of him
That's
back. So
pretty
did he-
fugly.
Did he do did he have the surgery, or how far did
I
this
have
transition
no idea.
go?
I have no idea. But so the president gets kidnapped by Christian fundamentalists, Christian nationalists, and the first lady has to go back to her Navy SEAL roots to save the president of the United States.
So she has to make a decision. My life is no longer about my trans identity, even though that's what I am. But as my trans identity, I need to get back to whipping ass.
Yes.
I like it.
Do they ever use these people for advertising razors or something?
Raises.
Yeah, I mean, that's must be a good shave to be able to
Oh, you're
maintain
talking
the
about an
lack of
increase in
beard.
pay if you shave, change
No,
your
no, like
gender?
for advertising razors,
Like
disposable razors or something.
Oh, yes,
look at the
right.
picture on the left. This is.
Oh, you're
this
saying
is,
it's a great shave.
It's a great shave,
Yes, I agree.
It's a close shave. You do an
This
ad,
should
you
be
know.
the Gillette. It should be the toxic masculinity Gillette commercials. It should be this.
Gillette Day, yes.
Yeah, Gillette. You use
Oh
Gillette.
my God, Stella, you're onto something. The moment of transition, right? It
Yeah,
shows
that's
this
it.
type of just furry, manly beard.
Mm-hmm. You can see it now.
I needed a razor that helped me embrace my true gender identity. And it shows him shaving into just beautiful female-like skin. I love it.
And
you
Gillette,
could actually sell that.
Gillette would. I mean, how many ESG scores would they get for that?
They would BlackRock.
They'd be
would
through the
sending
roof with their
them
social.
more
Oh,
money than we send fucking Ukraine with the tiny
Absolutely.
weapons. Yeah, I
Yeah,
so
BlackRock would just be
and
coming
Bitcoin.
all over their face.
BlackRock would be sucking their fucking surgery attached dick to be able to
Definitely.
give them money. But the thing is, you could approach a studio in very serious tone and make this pitch, and I actually think you could make $1 million off of that.
Yeah, probably.
You know?
Yeah, you know.
Because you look at some of these movies, and it's like, whenever I watch a movie now, because I've been in movies and TV, and so I understand the cost of that. No, for every shitty movie you see, there's a lot of people that worked very hard to make that shitty movie. It's just hard to make a good movie. It takes a lot of money, and so I can see how much money's being spent, and I'm just like, man, most of the money went to casting the gender diversity shit. It didn't go into the directing or
Makeup department.
No, it went into fucking making sure you get the right names to satisfy the BlackRock ESG shit.
I wonder who funded it. Alex
Soros, who's dating Anthony
Yeah.
Weiner's ex, by the way.
What's her name?
Yeah,
Aberdeen or something.
Uba Abedin.
Yeah.
So my thing with that, and I feel sorry for her for this, is if Bradley Cooper dated her. I mean, she's attractive.
What?
Yeah, Bradley Cooper dated her.
Gee, he's dated a lot of strange women, has he
He
not?
has. I thought that was a bit strange too. But for
Wait,
Uma,
isn't she a politician?
Uma Abedin was Hillary Clinton. Many people thought that Uma Abedin and Hillary
Yeah.
Clinton were having sex.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say something else about the F Rock.
The F Rock.
Fraggle.
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock?
A lot of the
Oh, I didn't want to
speculation-
say it, but you know,
A lot of
you said it.
speculation around Uma was that she was Hillary's bitch, and they were just scissoring the shit out of each other
Wait,
back in the day.
what does that have to do with Fraggle Rock?
Yeah.
Do you want? To
Oh, were you
elaborate?
asking me? Wasn't that the one? Was that the one that Hillary was meant to have? You know, that piece of footage. Oh, I don't even want to say it. That made the police and the CIA agents run out and throw up because it was so shockingly horrible.
So it's like the Fraggle Rock incident is
Yeah.
what you're. I'm
Wasn't
not
that her?
familiar.
It's her
But
and
with I don't know all of the Abedin sex stories, but it sounds like
I probably couldn't say it on YouTube. Put it that way.
Why is it Fraggle Rock though?
that's what Hillary
I don't know.
probably,
Sounds like a Muppet.
right.
No, Fraggle Rock was a Muppet show.
Right, it's a
Yeah.
Muppet. It's a
Oh, maybe
Muppet,
it's not Fraggle
Mr.
Rock. Oh.
President. It was a weird throuple
Was it Fraggle Rock?
with Hillary and Abedin and
And a Fraggle?
puppet. A Fraggle. It was a throuple.
And young people and faces being taken off and stuff like that.
Yes. And so I'm starting to remember some.
Wait
of
a
the images.
minute. Wait, like sacrifices?
Yeah, they sacrificed many of the puppets.
I think it. I mean, it
You
sounds
said
like a.
young people having their faces taken off. Am I hearing something incorrectly?
I think
Yeah.
the details of all of this story, I think we need to nail down.
Well,
maybe. At
it's
least, I don't
probably
know.
not a great idea. Yeah, we probably
Maybe
do.
we shouldn't nail
I
them
think
down.
it's just the CIA psyop.
Right.
Personally, it sounded so ridiculous.
But the surface level of it is that Uma and Hillary were in a relationship, many people believe. And then after Hillary was out of the limelight, Uma started dating Anthony Weiner, who sent a bunch of weird, creepy photos of him, like sex photos, and some of them his like cuddling his kid in bed and shit. And it was a big scandal. These are all people close to the Clintons that are very corrupt. And so time goes on, and I hadn't heard about her in a long time until I see a photo of George Soros' son on Valentine's Day, who is clearly pocket-sized. I mean, I feel like you could put, like he's the size of a nutcracker. You could put him in your pocket. Sitting with Abedin, who looks to be 6'10", and she's like cuddling up this little guy, and they're announcing their relationship on Instagram. Why would who gives a who's following Alex Soros on Instagram? Oh yeah, no, Alex. I'd love to see some food pics from Alex Soros.
Yeah.
And
Did you see him at the WEF whatever the last thing was?
I didn't
It might have
see
been
that,
Davos or whatever it was they were doing.
I'm sure he spoke, but what did he say?
Oh, he spoke, but it was like, it was so painful to listen to, like in real time. I've seen a couple of clips of it since that were edited, so they took out all the It was just so painful. It was like he could barely string words together into a proper sentence.
And
took him ages to say anything, which was not very important anyway.
He's like the youngest son of George Soros. George Soros is like 90 years old. Alex is, I think, 38 or 39.
900.
And he's got older brothers in their 50s, and he was given control of George Soros's, like $32 billion nation trying to shape the world foundation or whatever.
Well, maybe he was just the face. Might have just been the face,
I agree. We don't know who the fuck are actually
another
controlling
character.
these people.
Yeah, another character.
Certainly not somebody posting Instagram photos with Abedin announcing a relationship is not controlling shit. But for Abedin, I do feel sorry for her because if I were ever to go out on a date with Abedin, the only thing I would be able to think, I wouldn't be able to hear a word she said because all I would want to say was, did you scissor Hillary or not? Just tell me. Just tell me.
But would you believe her?
I don't know.
Either way.
I do think that the person who gets close to her, she has to confide that information in.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the ploy is with that. But again, just characters being, the chess pieces put together for some
even if
reason.
she said yes, I don't know how I would react. I would probably just go, okay, I just wanted to know.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks. Bye.
All right, we'll see you later. No, it's...
You can grab the bill.
It is like all of these characters, it's just... I say it's crazy and wild. It's really not. It's actually consistent. They all connect to each other.
Absolutely. They're same
Always.
cast, so usual suspects. They're probably all related by blood. If it's not in the veins, it's in a cup.
Totally, yeah. Right. So, Mr. President, do you have any final thoughts before we get out of here?
I'm just looking at these pictures of Abedin and Hillary Clinton.
Did you find any of the sexy ones?
I sent one where Hillary Clinton's dressed like Steven Seagal.
All right, I'm going to email this to myself so I can show this. I meant to show the image of Biden that what was that character you said Biden looked like?
I look like the little clown from the Killer Clowns.
I'm always impressed by your pop culture knowledge, Mr. President.
Killer Clowns is that'll stick with you.
The Killer Clowns is definitely a creepy movie. We'd like to get you on camera sometime, Mr. President, to see that beautiful face.
Well, I was a little
Wonderful
under the
hair.
weather today. You're lucky I stayed as long as I did.
I know you've been sick. Melania, I'm sure, has been taking care of you. What would you rate Melania when it comes to the best looking first ladies of all time?
I'd say she's a 10 out of 10.
But would you say she's number one?
Yeah, she's definitely number one. You get what are you talking about? Like, have you seen Abraham Lincoln's wife? Have you seen
haven't.
Bill Clinton's wife?
What does
I mean,
Abraham
look at
Lincoln's
that dog.
What does Abraham Lincoln's wife look like?
Abraham Lincoln's wife looked like
Not
a
good
man.
these days.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a bunch of bones these days. But no, I haven't. Yeah, that's a good point. I actually haven't seen the first ladies.
I mean, Bill Clinton's wife was hideous.
Still is.
Well, what about Hillary when she was in college, when she was hooking up with Saul Alinsky? You didn't think she was hot as a younger woman?
I look at that Soros kid too, and it's like,
what?
The picture I sent you of Uma Abedin, and then the picture of her with the Soros kid, they look like two different people.
All right, I just sent those to myself. I'm going to put them up on screen.
They look like two different people.
Well, Uma Abedin is I think the first picture you sent, she's younger. That's when she was probably in her early 30s.
Oh, I see what he's saying. So they don't look like the usual Uma Abedin and Alex Soros.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
her
that's what it
face is so much longer.
Right.
She's got shovel face, is what you're saying.
Oh, she's got definite shovel face.
Yeah.
Horse face. Why the long face?
Right. Yeah, he's so sad. Well, I guess if you dated Hillary Clinton and then followed that up with Anthony Weiner and then Alex Soros, you might have a long
But also,
face.
you're not allowed to. You can't judge people. You can't make fun of anybody.
Can't
now.
judge people by their
Especially if they're in the
shovel
public eye. If they're a public figure, you can't make fun of them. Ooh,
Mr.
get
President,
arrested.
so we're doing an improv show together at the beginning of April. Should we tell people when that is if anybody wants to come to the progressive hell that we perform in sometimes?
the mining for gold.
The gold.
I won't be there, but Mitch Fuzz Landstrong will.
Mitch Fuzz Landstrong. It's a great little theater with a festival and a group called Astronaut University that Mitch Fuzz Landstrong and Johnny Blastoff, played by myself, will be performing. Do you know the date and time of that?
I don't have any of that information.
We
They
don't
tell
have
me
any of that
anything.
information. This is why people.
I have
get
to
mad at
steal
us.
it from top secret documents.
Yes. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, man, it would be super funny to do just an open forum to do a live podcast at this festival of this show, and we just open the forum for everybody there to ask questions, knowing that I don't know. I think most people who would be there would completely disagree, a knee-jerk disagree with us, but I'm not certain of that. What do you think?
I think 99% of all.
You
of
think
them
it would be it would be hell? I mean, people would get very upset, probably.
They would. None of them.
But we're
would.
not jerks, though. Like we wouldn't be dicks about it.
It's doesn't matter. You
We'd
don't
just
know
be
these
like,
people.
stop being so gay and faggy. Just stop
Yeah,
being
they're all a
faggy.
bunch of soft cookies. The cookie monster would just eat his way right through 'em.
All right, here's the image, and then we'll close this thing. I know. Thank Mr. President. I feel you. Here's one of them. This is Uma Abedin. Let me raise that a little bit bigger. I don't know when this is. She looks very young there, very, very pretty. Hillary looks very happy with her acquisition.
Yeah, that's where Hillary's dressed like Steven Seagal.
And why is she wearing a green choker, similar to what Nancy Pelosi, not as
It's like
tight.
something a mermaid would wear around her neck, sort of thing. And Hillary's got that real sort of on medication look, hasn't she?
Right, and the
You
guy
remember
behind
when
her.
the balloons went off?
Do what? Oh, in the Democrat convention, and she was going crazy.
Yeah, and she looked like she just got off of like laughing gas or whatever they give you when you get your molars removed.
Yeah, nitrous.
Totally. No, ARM says that Brad's horny as fuck. Hit the club. No, I'm just a child, and I like making dirty jokes. Is all. This is what it is. But I think that's a funny comment. But you're right though. She is wearing the man outfit here, and
Yes.
and Uma
She's wearing the
Abedin
pants,
has the
definitely.
pearl necklace. And the most interesting part is the guy behind them, who must be the Secret Service agent,
I'd say so. One of them.
who was looking at the person taking the photo like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah. I'm watching you. Yeah, she's got a few security there.
That is such an interesting photo because Hillary is very much the dominatrix of that little relationship there. That's
So what was Aberdeen to her? Press secretary, was
Abedin
it?
was her main assistant for years.
It was her top aide.
Yeah, her top campaign aide.
Mm-hmm.
And the rumors.
Right hand woman.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys saw the story, and I'm not saying that I believe it at all. There was a story going around Twitter that a comedian that has kind of come onto the scene lately, although he's been doing comedy for years. Well, he's been doing it for over a decade, so it's not like he's new to it, but he's new to the popularity of the trending aspect of it. Somebody came on and said, I used to do comedy with so-and-so, and these two producers said, if you guys want to move up in the comedy world, you have to blow us. And he was like, I walked out of the room. And as I walked out, so-and-so was sucking both of their dicks. I don't know that I believe it, but just the whole theme of it, it feels similar to politics.
Wait a minute, though. Who's so-and-so?
Matt Rife.
Who the fuck is that?
Matt Rife is a funny comedian. I think he's funny. I don't know anything about the guy making the claim, so I give no credibility to it. Maybe it's true. I'm going to assume it's not true unless there's other evidence or testimony about it. But it seems like somebody who was jealous that somebody else became more popular than he did decided to make a video to get attention, is what it seemed like to me.
I mean, that's what I don't know any stories of people I know
I don't either.
circles with.
And you know people who are very famous. I know we know people who are like, and they're basically A-list actors who did not do any of that shit. So I will give him the benefit of doubt in that. I think it's even if it were true, it's kind of shitty to call out the comedian who did it instead of the Harvey Weinstein-like people who would demand it to be done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that piece of shit, what he did was he blew both of those guys.
Right.
And
yeah.
then they went on to rape 20 more people.
He blew both of these fantastic, great producers who
these fantastic rapists.
Right. So it's just kind of, the guy doesn't do himself. The guy, his Twitter page who made the claim, he used to be a comedian, but now he's like, and that he ended the video by saying, and that's business note number 109. Never fucking bow down. And just because somebody's more famous than you doesn't mean they're better than you. And I'm like, all right. That kind of explains some of this video.
And who is this guy?
I don't know his name. I can't remember his name. I cannot remember his name. Frazzle Drip was the name, not Frazzle Rock. I see what you're saying.
I got it wrong. Sorry. Fraggle Rock was something to do with Muppets.
Yes, that's
Fraggle
a movie.
Rock was a TV show.
Frazzle Drip is what happens when you really turn on one of the Muppets. Miss Piggy gets a little frazzle drip when Kermit comes around.
Down at Frazzle Drip.
All right, one more photo that you sent, Josh.
It's definitely, we'll get a strike
Sorry.
now. At least 3.
Fuck it. Here's the final photo.
YouTube can't
show.
see me holding my finger up.
This is Joe Biden, you said, Mr. President.
Now look at him.
That's what little children see when they look at Joe Biden.
He's all punchy.
I have to say, I would love to see Joe Biden just start wearing boxing gloves.
He's all punchy. He looks a lot like him in the face when he smiles.
When he smiles, he does. He's right.
And what's cool is, like, you could dye what's left of his hair green. You could paint a smile on his face and put him in boxing gloves, and he wouldn't fucking know the difference.
Just while he's asleep. Just
It looks exactly like this guy.
He'd walk around going, no, come on, I'm serious. I mean, my dad used to tell me. No, and he would just have no idea. That's a brilliant idea. You dress him up like a clown, he has no idea.
I mean, they got the same teeth, the same eyes.
You know how Joe had those special shoes, the horseshoe shoes?
Was
So
that
that
Joe?
wouldn't- That was Joe.
To
so
help
that he
him
wouldn't.
not fall down?
Yeah. He could have those clown shoes, the ones that go out the front, like for about a foot.
God, yeah. Dude,
Or
they
two.
should do so if they were like funny people, they would do like a sketch with Joe Biden and Ron DeSantis talking about their favorite shoes because DeSantis wears the heels, to make himself
Right.
taller.
Okay.
They both have these body manipulating shoes. I think that would be fun because Biden's got a TikTok page now where he makes funny videos and talks about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Huge fan of Biden's TikTok page. That's what. So during the Super Bowl, the president. This is how they do it over here, Stella. The president always comes out and gives an interview before the Super Bowl. I don't know why, but that's just the tradition until this year. Joe Biden didn't do it. What they did instead was they created a YouTube or a TikTok page for the White House and Joe Biden, where Biden came out and in TikTok style was asked questions. Travis Kelce or his brother, they both play in the NFL, and Biden's like, Mama Kelce, she makes good cookies, and then he mumbles something that nobody can understand.
Wow. Poor old thing. Yeah. I wonder what they've got planned for him. I wouldn't have been surprised if something happened today, but they just needed those hero moments so that history can continue watching.
That's really it. If you put him out there for an hour, you're going to get like 90% mumbles, but you'll get at least 3 or 4 clips you can spin it in the media. I feel like we live in a snow globe, personally.
Yeah, it's just so weird. It's even beyond weird. It's just entertaining now.
Do you think we're in a simulation?
It's a ridiculous concept, but at the same time, can't disprove it. And then there's some weird mathematics that kind of go are pretty hard to question about certain things. But I don't know. I don't know.
Troy says to wrap up the show, I say we waive our right to vote and let Biden and Trump settle things in the ring. And you can have Joe Rogan announce
good
it.
idea.
It's fine. I'm down with it. And maybe because of course Tyson is fighting that YouTuber who boxes now, Jake Paul.
I'll take on Biden any day in the squared circle.
I'd like to see Mike Tyson fight Joe Biden.
I'd like to see Trump and
I'll
Biden.
take on Tyson too.
Would you? Both
at the same time. You could do it.
You need Zuckerberg and Elon Musk as the undercard, followed up by Biden. Maybe you have Hillary, and who would Hillary fight in the lead-up fights?
Aberdeen.
Say she fights her ex. Scorned lovers fight, and then you have Biden and Trump battle it out. I love it.
Dylan Mulvaney could be the score girl.
Dylan Mulvaney walks around with a round 6, round 7 shit.
And the whole time Dylan Mulvaney's going, this is day 375 of
right, she's got
girlhood."
her fucking prolapsed vagina penis hanging out her lady dick.
That's disgusting.
All right, thank you, Stella. Thank you, Mr. President. Stella, where can people find you?
I can be found on the WTF forum, which is on every Sunday Eastern Standard Time if you're in the USA. I just accommodate and trail along in the future because the history is watching. That's every Sunday at, I think it's 8 p.m.
It's a great show. It's a super fun show.
You're in there sometimes.
It's great. Yeah, I've been on a couple times. I had a great time every time. And I think everybody on it's super cool. And, it's interesting. And as always, it's just a fun show. So check it out. And Stella's brilliant in many, many ways. So check her out. And Mr. President, Action Show
I paid him for
Studios. Just check out Action Show Studios. And the more we become okay with telling you about our improv shows, the more we will tell you about when you can see us on stage live.
The more we become okay with coming out that we do comedy, coming out that we do theater.
So look, here's what I'll say this, and this has been a long show, so not everyone is going to get this, but I will reemphasize this message. We do comedy, me and Ian and Mr. President here, and some of the other, we do live comedy, but usually in front of progressives. We want to do comedy in front of people who aren't going to come up to us after the show like someone did to me recently and said, I thought it was really great how you yes-anded the they-them pronouns. I don't want, I just yes-anded. I don't need that compliment, okay? I don't need an audience who's looking for the correct use of pronouns. I want an audience who's okay if somebody says fag in a scene and is not going to try and cancel them. So we will do live shows, and we want to do live shows. We do some of them, but we want to do them to audiences that appreciate non-wokeness. So,
and you were talking about cigarettes right there, then, Brad, right?
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
What do you mean, cigarettes?
When you said fag, you were talking about cigarettes.
Yes. Smoke fags. Yeah. Like Mr. President loves to smoke fags.
Smoke fags. Yeah, that's right. In fact, there used to be a candy. Did you ever have the fags candy?
No, I haven't. Is it delicious?
It was like cigarettes for children, basically. It was like their sugary candy with a red
would like
tip.
to find them, and I'm only going to give out fags candy on Halloween.
So in Australia, were they fags candy?
They were. Yeah. In fact, I don't think they're available anymore. I'm not sure when they would have been
There were
taken
always
off the market.
candy cigarettes here.
Yes, I know what you're talking about.
But I love the idea of candied fags.
Candy fags. Here's some fags for you. So, like
If I can find any, I'll send them to you.
I would love to have some candy fags.
All right.
The funniest people that say the word fag are gay people. Like our gay friends in the theater used to be so hilarious how they called other people fags, and we have missed that, and it needs to come back.
Well, one of them was a Republican.
But also, it's like nobody's talking about anybody's fucking sexuality, okay? It's just so stupid.
It weren't until they were told to.
Yeah, so. All right, well, we'll see you fags later. And
fag out.
Have a fantastic rest of your faggy day.
Love you, fags.